The excitement is back in Lincoln after a 2-week absence. The Huskers are back home to take on UCLA. Football on the Big Ten Network is powered by Unleaded 88. Energy is high not just because the Huskers are winning, because the postseason could be on the horizon after a 7-year bowl drought. A cloudy day, maybe a little bit of rain in the forecast. Unseasonably warm for November, in the high 50s, low 60s, and maybe great football ahead. Yogi Roth, Guy Haberman, Rhett Lewis down on the field. Interesting spot for both of these teams. UCLA off a bye, playing its best football of the year. Nebraska maybe played in some ways its best game in a loss to Ohio State.
I think when you're looking at the Bruins, the enthusiasm this team has had in a tough stretch under Deshaun Foster has only grown every week. Coming off a win, they've had their best couple weeks of practice. They want to move the football. They know they have to try to run the ball and neutralize a little bit of this Nebraska defensive front, because Nebraska, they're feeling as confident as ever. Amid a loss a week ago, there was a lot of things they pulled from that and said, look, we may have turned the corner here. It's grounded confidence. They're so excited to get back in front of this fan base.
That's right. I mean, what you can't see here in November in Lincoln is your breath. What you can see is maybe Matt Rhule's championship vision clarifying, especially given what he said last week after the loss to the Buckeyes.
I was proud of that football team today. I was proud. They didn't back down. They had some really tough breaks. They had some things really go against them, even the way we started, and they competed. It was the first time. It's the first time. It's the first time since I've been here that I felt a championship mindset in the locker room.
Ohio State won again today, so we know that's a championship level team. So what does that mean for Nebraska?
Well, it means that this team is willing to go right up to the edge and cut it loose, not play scared, not play nervous. That was the big element from Indiana to Ohio State, was the confidence of this team and the willingness to go for it. They've done that. They hope to carry that again to today's ball game.
All right, let's now enjoy as they exit the locker room. One of the great scenes in college football, the atmosphere here at Memorial Stadium.
Will you suffer with passion? Will you make them bleed with passion? They want to win the game. They'll come after you. And you weather the storm. You have to be willing to burn.
On Military Appreciation Day. Here at Memorial Stadium, the goosebumps are always guaranteed. Let's welcome in the third member of our team, Rhett Lewis, who's down on the field with Matt Rhule.
Coach, you talked so passionately about finding the championship mindset last week against Ohio State. What does that look like on the field today?
Well, it doesn't carry over. It never does. You have to chase it every single week, and this is a great team. This is a great opportunity for us. So, to me, this is about us. Every snap, just wanted to play our best versus their best, and seeing what happens.
Coach, there's so much talk externally about bowl eligibility, right? Sitting on 5 wins here. It's probably being talked about it amongst the 80,000 inside this stadium today. How have you talked to your team about what this opportunity presents?
This opportunity is this, to play in front of these fans and this environment against a historic program like UCLA. Like, you know, when I die, I want to come back to moments like this. So I want our guys in this moment. Whatever comes after it, comes after it. We got to play a great football team.
Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Rhett. Well, it is an opportunity that everybody is talking about. A 7-year bowl drought that Nebraska can end today. That's almost as long as Ty Robinson's been here. He ties a Nebraska record with his 56th appearance this afternoon.
Yeah, he's got an old school edge to him. He's clearly a next level player, but today he's going to be a huge key for this black shirt defense. UCLA's got to neutralize him. When you flip it over for Nebraska offensively, they follow the lead of the freshman, right? He has not been here anywhere near as long as Ty Robinson, but he's played at a high level. But it's been a minute since he's thrown a touchdown pass. He's going to see a variety of looks today. He's going to have to be on it from the shoulders above against this Bruin defense.
UCLA a week off, and you know, Matt Rule spent a lot of time this week telling the fan base and his players, don't be fooled by the record. This team is playing good football.
Yeah, they've had as challenging of a stretch as anybody in America. Their last 2 times out, it was J. Michael Sturtevant, big explosive play against Minnesota. And then it was the running backs. You'll see that again today. Keegan Jones, T.J. Harden, not necessarily in the run game, in the pass game. And how about the run game of Ethan Garbers, 49-yard touchdown last time out, the Bruins' longest run of the season. We talked to him about it this week, and he said, oh yeah, by the way, I went 19.7 miles per hour on that run as well. So we'll see how this one shakes out in the ground game off the bat.
You know, this is a program that's traveled tough. They went to Penn State. He missed that game. Since he came back from injury against Minnesota a couple weeks ago, he has really led the way. The Big Ten's Offensive Player of the Week with a career-high performance against Rutgers. UCLA won the toss and chose to receive. The Bruins want the ball on the road. What do you think of that?
Well, I like it in terms of they want to dictate some terms. I will talk all game long around who has the chalk last, right? UCLA offensively is going against Tony White's very detailed and intricate and challenging 3-3-5 defense. And on the flip side, same deal. UCLA has presented a different plan over the course of their last few games to the opposing offense. So I like UCLA saying, hey, let's take the ball. And oh, by the way, we've driven down the field the majority of our games this season and either scored or been on the verge of a score. So they're very confident in their opening script.
The most popular Halloween costume here in Lincoln 2 weeks ago was that man's number 15. He's wearing the real thing here today as he tries to get Nebraska bowl eligible for the first time in 8 years. They played at Penn State, they played at LSU, and Deshaun Foster, the Bruins head coach, told him it'll be just like that.
Yeah.
This is one of the great scenes in college football. Keegan Jones, the speedster, back deep to receive the kick. And UCLA, by choice, is going to start on offense. So here comes Ethan Garbers, the best game of his career. He threw touchdown passes to 4 different receivers and scored one with his legs.
Well, he's at a version of a career high in his last 2 ball games. And this is now his 3rd straight game with this new look offensive line for UCLA. They need to neutralize this front. And I think for Ethan Garbers, the key to his success his last 2 starts is getting the ball out quickly to the tight ends and the backs.
It's the 7th time in history that UCLA has been here in Lincoln, the first back in the 40s. And they're going to start on the ground in a sea of noise, and in a sea of red goes the running back T.J. Harden, a 4-yard pickup.
Such a big part of UCLA's story this year from the outside is how come they haven't been able to run the ball? This offense has struggled running football, but it's not as though they don't try. I mean, early on, you have to try some sort of a run game. You've got to just make the defense feel as though you will run it. I like the initial call, and it's positive yardage for this offensive front.
This crowd goes 0 to 100 before every snap. And Garber steps up, and there's his tight end, Moliki Matavao, with John Bullock trailing him, a pickup of 9 and a first down.
Well, a nice job going through his progression. I thought he was going to go to Keegan Jones right down the sideline. Nothing there. Finds his tight end. It's going to be one of his favorite targets all afternoon long, and Nebraska knows they've got to match up against him. Watch Nebraska adjust personnel grouping based on that tight end.
Fullback Leo Kemp has come into the game beside Garbers, and he's going to give it to Harden, who gets stuffed right in the middle. Jamari Butler to plug the hole. Let's take a look at today's Impact Players, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance.
Well, I really think for UCLA, it's these two backs, TJ Harden, Keegan Jones. They have to be involved, whether they're carrying the ball as running backs or influencing it as a wideout out of the backfield. And then on the defensive side, talked about Ty Robinson. You'll see a lot of Javen Wright as well at linebacker. That's the matchup Nebraska likes against Moliki Matavao or these backs. You see number 33 in the ball game right now at inside linebacker for Nebraska.
It was Matavao that went in motion. Garbers crossing over the middle. The other tight end, Bryce Pierre, is going to make this a 3rd down and 2.
This is a nice job. Garber just reading the defense. You'll see right here in the middle, that linebacker, Javen Wright, he just is spying Ethan Garbers, threatened by his legs a little bit, and all of a sudden, this little zone scheme on the crossing routes to set up this 3rd down for UCLA.
It's a Nebraska defense that held Ohio State to 64 total rushing yards. Running the ball in 3rd down situations, that's not what UCLA does. Garbers cuts it loose, and Sturdivant wins that battle with Jeremiah Charles for a 1st down.
And that's veteran against Rook, right? Jeremiah Charles, this is his first start of his very young career at Nebraska. He's got a ton of talent. But J. Michael Sturdivant's been around the block. Look at this route, sets him up to the outside, and then he comes flat. That's the key, guys, a wideout. When you're in that type of man-to-man look, you've got to come flat. When it's 3rd and everything, nice route by the vet.
Rotation of running backs for UCLA. Now Jalen Berger has come into the game, and he's going to catch it out of the backfield, but he's tackled immediately by Deshaun Singleton, just like Ty Robinson coming off a great game last week against Ohio State.
Singleton has been so active. He's got great range, one of the toughest guys on the team. You're right, 10 tackles a week ago against Ohio State. He's going to have to be a big part of this thing. And remember, this defense, this 3-3-5 scheme, they want their safeties down near the line of scrimmage. You see UCLA trying to get the ball out right in front of some of those tackles.
Berger got away from Robinson, but doesn't get away from John Bullock.
Robinson is so talented. He's just going to immediately cross the face. See him right here in the middle. Just physically just wins that matchup against Sam Yoon, the center. This is where you got to neutralize him, guys. 3rd down, an obvious passing down. I'd imagine Nebraska's going to bring a little pressure and try to get in the face of these receivers, especially 88, Moliki Matavao in the bunch at the bottom of the screen.
Garbers. Deep shot, Quasi Gilmer, and he's got it, and a 1st down. They went at the freshman, Charles again, and Gilmer, a freshman himself, wins that battle.
Yeah, this is a big-time route. Watch at the very top. We'll stack him right here and then run the corner. That is a veteran route. This is the only freshman that really plays on this offense for UCLA. A lot of times you see freshmen make that route a little short. Not for Quasi Gilmore. The ball is already out before he even gets out of his break. That's trust from Garbers, execution from Gilmer.
Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator, told us of Gilmer, he's the real deal. And they get him involved early. Now Keegan Jones sweeping around the edge, and he is going to pick up about 9 yards and bring up second down and short. By the way, the Gilmer catch, Yogi, a 25-yard pickup.
Yeah, just think about Eric Bieniemy right now. Every game you go back and watch UCLA, this opening drive is so impressive. Why? Because of the variance of that call sheet he's holding in his left hand. It's downhill run. It's tight end on a crossing route. It's receiver on a deep corner, and then it's the end around. You're just trying to keep this defense of Tony White guessing, and again, who has the chalk last?
Flag. Our referee today is Jerry McGinn.
False start. Offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty, Maine second down.
It's the left tackle, Nicky Prongos.
You know, every week, we're talking in advance of the game, and you're thinking, what are the big keys to the game? And such a big one for UCLA is it's self-inflicted negatives. I mean, 9 penalties, 10 penalties, the last 2 times out. You cannot hurt yourself in the red zone in that regard on the road.
And second down at 6 after the penalty. Harden gets it all back and more, and another UCLA first down.
You know, this is big time by Sam Yoon, the center. He gets beat a couple snaps ago by Ty Robinson. Watch the center right here for UCLA as the play develops. He's going to get into that shoulder. Ty Robinson actually put him on the ground. I mean, think about that. The bounce back quality against an All-American, next level caliber player in Ty Robinson. And here comes this first-year starter at center, Sam Yoon, in the same drive with a bounce back.
So now first down and goal. And Harden gets stuffed. And, you know, one of the stories of this game, Yogi, might be who takes advantage in the red zone. Both teams in the bottom 4th of the league in red zone touchdown percentage. UCLA 17th in the Big Ten. They score a touchdown 47% of the time they're down here.
Yeah, and a big part, I think, of this receiving core is a guy who's come on the last few weeks, who's now in the field, or on the field, in Titus Mokiao Atimalala. I think it's matchup advantage. He's at the top of the screen in the slot.
He's at the top all alone now as Gilmer goes out. Garbers with time, and tied up was Sturdivant. Covering him was Sierra Wright, who's gotten the opportunity to start lately and made the most of it. And now it's third down.
You're down in this tight red zone. I'm a big fan of playing press coverage. Just try to force the timing to be a little off. You saw a little conflict there on the release. Nice job by the transfer from USC, Sierra Wright, as we enter this money down. And I'm looking right now for the tight end, Matavao, or again, go on back to number 2, who was open on the previous snap, and Mokiao Atimalala.
Third down, pressure. And Garbers is just going to take a couple and get shoved out by Ty Robinson, and now it's 4th down.
Nice job by this defense. Anytime you can force the quarterback to go away from their throwing hand, away from the strength of the formation, you can do it. Ty Robinson, clearly an active player. Watch him right in the middle right there. He'll just find a way to just stay with his eyes on Ethan Garbers the whole time. Great technique there by a defensive lineman, keeping his arms engaged on the offensive lineman, but also peeking the whole time on Garbers.
25-yard field goal attempt for Mateen Bagani. Chase Berry will hold it. Salem Abdul-Wahab, the snapper. And that's a 14-play scoring drive to open the game for the Bruins. Won the toss, come into this place, take the football. Deshaun Foster's group strikes first. Let's take a look at today's Impact Players, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Yogi, who you got?
Well, I like skill position guys as much as anybody, but in this game, I want to watch Ben Scott against Jay Toia. 2 impactful players, the center for Nebraska. The guy's going to line up right over him. This thing in the trench is going to be a blast as Nebraska gets the ball.
Well, this is an area that has been a little bit uncomfortable for Nebraska, the return game. Quentin Ives put in the extra work this week and catches that cleanly. and gets a good run, takes a couple of pops and gets out to about the 19-yard line. Nebraska gets the football for the first time when we return to Lincoln. Take a look at today's opening refresh, brought to you by Satva. It's amazing. November begins, only 2 home games left for Nebraska, including this one. And when Halloween comes during the week, you get to carry it over into Saturday.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
They're all here.
It's a good 5-day holiday, don't you think? You know,
especially in college town.
Yeah, that's right. You could call it a semester if you want.
So after UCLA took the football first and marched down for a field goal, Nebraska gets the ball. You know, we talk about Halloween. He told us, Dylan Raiola, that he got several. He said 5 people he saw dressed as him on Halloween. Look at what he's done as a true freshman. I mean, nobody does this.
No, I think the greatest thing about him is his maturity and his humility as he walked into the facility, walked into the building in January as the highest rated quarterback to really ever come to Nebraska. And what's great about him is he just continues to just go to work.
Looking for Isaiah Nair there. Kalen Moore bats it away.
And I just think one thing on him is that he's really made sure that the game plan every week is done early so he can have an idea where it's coming. In today's game plan, he knows UCLA is going to be extremely aggressive. They want to bring a variety of looks, as you see right here. Standing up, defensive linemen coming from everywhere.
On 3rd down, an early 3rd down here for the Huskers. Look at all the communication going. And now pressure up the middle. Raiola trying to make some magic. And he gets brought down. Jay Toia, you just had him on your list.
Well, the effort for this UCLA defense is so impressive. Watch these two the entire play as the play unfolds. That's Carson Swessinger and Jay Toia. They just keep going and running and running. Look at Jay Toia. I mean, this is 325 pounds. Looking fleet of foot right there and just continually bring in pressure. And they want to try to confuse and force Dylan Raiola to hold on to the ball. Win right there for the UCLA Bruins.
Brian Buschini, the black shirt, the punter, sends it away to Logan Loya. And that takes a big Nebraska bounce. Aiden Flagey, the snapper, is going to come all the way down to pick it up at the 14-yard line. 65-yard punt. All right, Yo, here's your keys to the game.
Well, I think right now for UCLA, they got to neutralize Ty Robinson in this black shirt defense. And for Nebraska, after one drive, they want to try to force Garbers to hold on to the ball. So how do you do it? It's the disguise. It's giving them a look pre-snap, moving different guys. And if you can get to them in that regard, force them to hold on to the ball, then maybe it's the UCLA offense of their first 6 games. If not, and if Garbers knows where to go with the rock, look what happened last time against Rutgers. Then we have the previous drive. I mean, he's so savvy, shoulders and above guy, of understanding the deployment of his personnel against this defense of Nebraska.
So after a 14-play drive to open the game, second possession for the Bruins, and there's Titus Mokiawa-Timalala with a first down catch. He's coming off. You saw the numbers there from last week. He was a big part of it. Career high 5 catches against Rutgers. Make that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, he's a dynamic possession receiver. He's got the explosive ability down the field, and I just think matchup-wise, he can be an issue. They move him in the slot, they move him outside, and now, as you see him lined up, it looks like against, that's Tommy Hill, who's now in the game. It's been a minute since he's played for Nebraska in the secondary.
He's a little banged up. Not sure that he'll get to go the full game today, but he's getting an opportunity here on the second drive as Harden is able to stumble forward, a pickup of 3.
You know, we talk about NFL pedigree in this game, right? Matt Rule, from NFL head coach, Eric Bieniemy, a longtime NFL coach as well. And so much in that league, it's about matchups. So curious to watch here for Eric Bieniemy. Where is he trying to find matchups? They know that they can't necessarily win one-on-one against this defensive front. They're going to find ways to isolate different players against this linebacking core and secondary.
Garbers, good pocket, hard in the back. That's where the ball normally goes, right? Backs and tight ends is where most of these completions for UCLA come from.
Nice job there, just bringing in some different personnel group. For the first time you see Anthony Atkins in, he's kind of a fullback for them. He finds, to your point, Harden. They like doing this, and all coordinators are trying to get tells in the early drives in a game. What is Nebraska doing against this personnel grouping that UCLA has with TJ Harden and these backs?
UCLA was 2 of 3 on third down on its opening drive. And they've got a 3rd and 4 with the play clock getting low. Pressure. Garbers heated up. Gets out. And Garbers is going to run for the first down. Willis McGahee came on the heat, and Garbers was able to escape.
The savviness of Ethan Garbers continues to show off. Watch him just climb the pocket. He feels the pressure from McGahee, keeps his eyes down the field, and then a subtle movement sees Garrett DeGiorgio, his right tackle, make a little block, and away he goes. I mean, look at this guy. I mean, Ethan Garbers is not necessarily known for his athleticism. That was his older brother, Chase. He's told us a few times, hey, I think I'm a pretty good athlete. Showcased it again right there.
9-yard run to keep this drive alive. Play clock is low again, and they get it off with 2 seconds. And there's Logan Loya, who gets swallowed up after a 2-yard pickup.
You think of this Nebraska defense, they held Ohio State to 1 of 10 on third down a week ago. Right. UCLA 3 of 4 early on in this ball game, and a huge part of it is not just the scramble that we saw in the previous third down conversion, but again, it's the getting the ball out. You know, in the first month and a half of the season, Ethan Garbers was taking more hits than anybody because he was holding on to the ball as long as anybody, and they just couldn't hold up with this offensive front.
That will hand it off. Keegan Jones. Maybe a yard. Garbers has completed 8 of his 9 attempts. And you ready for this? Take a guess, Yogi. How many different receivers?
8. Yeah. And we got a little something going out on the field. It has been chippy on the perimeter in the run game all game long between these two teams. And some of it has gone a little after the whistle. It's been close as we've been tracking it. Officials trying to be all over it in this one. That one a little too long.
That was Elijah Judy and Bryce Pierre getting after it a little bit.
Officials trying to break it up. Guys just talking. It's a heated game.
You know, new league, everyone's getting to know each other.
Yeah, there you go. Look, everybody knows there's stakes, right? Nebraska's trying to go bowling. UCLA's got minimal margin for error if they want to get to the postseason as well.
3rd down and 7. Pressure. Garbers. And there's Loya. He takes a big hit and is able to hold on. Marquise Buford came up with the pop, and Loya held on a pickup of 17 yards.
When it comes to receiver play on 3rd down, first of all, you see a little bit of a pickup, enough from Jones just to slow down that rush, but it's the route, it's the depth from Logan Loya, the vet of these receivers. He's a redshirt senior, he's been around for a long time. He gets to 16 yards and comes flat. Knows he's going to get popped. He does, tucks it away from pressure. Veteran to veteran for another 3rd down conversion.
So you said it again. The only 3rd down they allowed last week was a QB sneak. That was Nebraska's defense. Today, so far, UCLA is 4 of 5 on 3rd down. Jalen Berger dragged down by Ty Robinson after a loss of 1.
Yeah, Nebraska's defense doing a decent job on this drive on 1st down. Right? And UCLA hasn't gotten much on the 1st down. It's even those 3rd down conversions. And I'll tell you what, they tried a little bit of a tempo, tried to catch Nebraska. There isn't much that man right there, number 9, has not seen in his career. And to your point earlier, we talked to Matt Rule about that Ohio State game, and he said he was the best player on the field. You go back and you watch it, it's really hard to argue that point. Coming off his best game, and in classic Big Ten fashion, the first quarter flies by, brother.
Has Nebraska's offense been on the field today? It barely touched it. 3 offensive plays for Nebraska's offense. As we go to the second quarter, UCLA still with the ball.
Well, Coach, we haven't had a chance to see your offense very much. Defense been on the field. How do you get off the field on third down?
They're doing a nice job on third down. We had a sack. We missed it. The last one we were close to a sack, so we're just going to keep playing, hoping to make a play, knock the ball out, get the offense out there, try to get them in rhythm.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
This offense only had 3 plays. UCLA's 22nd play of the day coming up as we start the second quarter. And Keegan Jones trying to get him to the edge, and he's able to get there before Willis McGahee shoves him out of bounds. And a third down is coming up for UCLA. These are the first quarter stats.
You just go to total play, right? Time of possession. It's just wild. I mean, for that Nebraska offense, they're still on their opening script when they get the ball back. But to Matt Rhule's point, this defense has been close on third down. They've been touching the jersey of Ethan Garbers, but not taking him down. They got to find a stop here. And again, keep your eyes on 88, Mataval, the tight end in motion.
Garbers with time, and Sturdivant flagged down. He holds on. Helmet gets popped up by Gifford. They convert, and we'll check on this penalty, a pickup of 12. Wow. How did J. Michael Sturdivant hold on to this ball? Good to see him moving around down there. Certainly you think of
Personal foul, face mask, with targeting, defense, number 2. The targeting aspect of the foul is under further review.
And they'll make sure it's a catch as well. That's not the primary concern. It's for Sturdivant. Good to see him walk off as Sturdivant's able to get up. And they're going to go review the targeting. And let's also make sure this is a catch, Yogi.
Garbers wants to go to Mataval, comes right back, puts it in the only place he can, and then there's the contact. You could hear it from all the way up here in the booth when it happened, and you're right, it was great to see Sturdivant walk off. And to the officials, there's a lot to look at right now. You're looking at the catch, you're looking at the face mask, you're looking at the targeting, all the things that they just referenced. And it's on Isaac Gifford. He is the key to this unique defensive style of play that Tony White deploys.
Well, we have Sturdivant making a catch that makes him a defenseless player. And the question then becomes, do we have forcible contact to the head or neck area of a defenseless player? You know, I think one thing to remember too, like the forcible is a key part here, right? Simple contact, I say the word simple. A glancing blow is sometimes the words you use.
Yeah, I don't see it right here.
Okay.
In that angle, because to your point, you know, they're going to the ball. Like the defender has the right to get to the ball.
See what Jerry McGinn determined.
After further review, there is no targeting on the foul. However, number 2, there is a foul for a face mask after the play. That penalty will be enforced. First down.
Nice job by everybody involved in that regard. And again, the defender, they've got the right to play football too, to play the ball. And you didn't see Gifford leap, launch, any of those elements that you're looking for, the indicators. Nice job there by the crew, enforcing the face mask, not the targeting, and also seeing the catch. So many moving parts, really impressive by the officials.
So 12 yards on the catch, and then you add the penalty to it, and they get down to the 10-yard line.
And this is Logan Loya time, 17. The top of that bunch at the bottom of the screen. They love finding him down here in the red zone.
We've got a stoppage on the field for a moment.
So now we're talking to the officials, trying to gain clarity on something. Looks like he's asking face mask and targeting at the same time. Saying, how does he do both?
And of course, he's pointing at the video board. With the officials are not going to look up there. Oh, there you see it.
Yeah, the biggest question I think coming from Matt Rule is saying, okay, understand the target, but where was the face mask? You rarely see a targeting and face mask at the same time. You see it right there from Gifford.
It was a reception. He's at the 20-yard line, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, how many times have we seen targeting? Rarely do you see a face mask by the same defender, but he got him on the way down. Right call by the officials, now giving clarity to Matt Rule on the explanation of the penalty.
So it becomes in total a 22-yard play. A little trick end around, and they throw it quickly to Berger, and he is in for a UCLA touchdown. Two big drives for UCLA in this game so far. Wow.
Execution, execution. Keep an eye on that left guard. Spencer Holsters the whole time. Patient, patient. Then there's the block right there in the middle of your screen. Berger does the rest, and execution's been an issue for UCLA. They've been relatively flawless on 2 drives today.
Fast start for the Bruins.
Yeah, and the guy who's making it happen is Ethan Garber's patience at quarterback, knowing when to strike, offensive line knowing when to execute, and this team is celebrating in a sea of red.
Football on the Big Ten Network is powered by Unleaded 88, engine smart, earth kind. By State Farm, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And by DirecTV. Stream Big Ten football all season long on DirecTV without a satellite dish. Gorgeous yesterday in Lincoln, some cloud cover today. The rain has held off. Waiting to see it, just like we're waiting to see the Nebraska offense. It's only run 3 plays in this game. Spagani kicks that into the end zone, and Nebraska's second possession is coming up. Look at what UCLA has done so far this year. 25 plays today on offense. Next Saturday, Big Ten Tailgate heads to Oregon to pay a visit to the #1 team in the country and set the scene for a great day of football. The fun begins at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. You walk around the new beautiful facility named for the great Tom Osborne, and you think a little bit, the closest thing to it might be Oregon when you see how beautiful and modern it is. Similar vibes. 4th offensive play of the game for Nebraska, and it's going to result in a sack, no, an incomplete pass. That is ruled an incomplete pass. Oladejo was all over the quarterback, Dylan Raiola. And let's go to Chicago and a studio update with Dave Revson.
Guy Yogi, Indiana trailing for the first time all year, down 10-0 in East Lansing. But Curtis Rourke hits Zach Horton, his 3rd touchdown of the year. Lead has been cut to 3. It's 10-7 Spartans.
Wow. How about that?
Michigan State's played everybody really hard. They don't turn it over. They got a shot for a huge upset.
Plenty of time on the play clock here for Dylan Raiola, who wants to throw on 2nd down. And gets it away incomplete. I mean, you mentioned the opening script for Nebraska. This is not what it's supposed to look like.
Well, it doesn't help you offensively when you're struggling protecting against Oluwafemi Oladejo. I mean, he's had his way in the first 2 snaps of this drive at that defensive end position. He and Jay To'e, I mean, they're just dominant. They just had a single on him on the first snap of this drive. They double teamed him on the previous snap. They got to have an answer for him. I'd imagine they try to send an extra body at number 2.
A lot. Look at all this movement up front for UCLA.
Yeah, they're forcing Dylan Raiola to check a bunch at the line of scrimmage.
3rd down. Pressure right up the gut. And Raiola throws it out of bounds. And there are boos here at Memorial Stadium.
Well, the previous play, as there's a late flag, and I don't know if that's going to be on UCLA with some extracurricular. Right?
Maybe a little taunting?
Yeah, and Deshaun Foster is on the field screaming at his defense to get over to the sideline. And UCLA, they've hurt themselves so much this season.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense, number 2, his first of the game. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Wow. So instead of punting.
And look, you see DRE on the back of the hat and the jacket of the head coach. The D is discipline, man. I mean, it's discipline, and this team cannot hurt themselves. They're not good enough in that regard in this environment on the road. Let's see where he is. He's right here. Let's see what he does. He looks over to the sideline.
Walks towards their sideline.
Yeah, I mean, didn't have a great look at what he did. It's an emotional game, but still, it's a self-inflicted negative for UCLA.
Can Nebraska take advantage, a reprieve, as Dowdell picks up 1 yard? I mean, if he doesn't commit that penalty, you're looking at as many punts as offensive yards in the game for Nebraska, 2.
And potentially good field position if you field the punt. You know, so here's the deal right now for UCLA defensively as their dominant defenders come back in after being out of snap, and Toia and Oluwadejo. Nebraska's got to find a way to protect against this unique defensive front. Again, guys standing up, coming from a variety of different areas and depths.
Ramir Johnson, the back, missed last week's game against Ohio State due to injury. And he's going to look at the fake. Raiola, all the time in the world, to take a shot for Barney! And Ja'Cory Barney's got it! What a catch! 40 yards, and Nebraska's offense is suddenly awake.
I mean, he just launches this, and KJ Wallace just gets turned around. He's thinking he's getting a pick over his finger, maybe even tipped. Is it a catch? I think it is in that first look. A front shoulder roll, his other arm comes underneath it. And there it is, freshman to freshman, former roommates when they arrived. And this offense
plays on the further review
needed an explosive play. They'll clearly take a look at it. From that first look, though, Guy, I thought that other arm got underneath the ball when it started to move. Here's a look. I think it gets tipped from Wallace. It's in his right arm. It looks like that left elbow comes underneath it to bring it back into his body. Let's take a look at it again. It's that left elbow. Keep an eye on it as he turns. Called a catch on the field, so it's got to be clear and obvious that it's not.
I'm with you. I don't see anything that overturns it here, right? I think you're right, Yogi. The ball is moving, but it's his arm that's underneath it from everything we can see. And, you know, there's a white stripe on the ball, but he's wearing white gloves, white tape.
I think his left elbow actually grooms the ball back into his body. And you're thinking sack, maybe interception. KJ Wallace gets spun around, and here comes this freshman in Ja'Cory Barney. And the man out of Florida, you met him, he just wants to rock. I mean, yeah. he is a confident player. He just made a confident play.
Let's see if his catch stands.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Reception, first down.
And how about the throw? I mean, Dylan Raiola, he's been getting banged up a little in this ball game. Deep play action. He's got to climb the pocket. You're thinking, is he going to get sacked again? No, he doesn't. He just rips one down the field. Beautiful location. And I really think it gets hit by the fingertip of Wallace. See the ball just adjust trajectory a hair. Great focus by the freshman wideout, and a dime from Dylan Raiola.
They'll have something to talk about, Raiola and Barney, when they go to the Chiefs game on Monday night, which is on the schedule. They hope to go there with a win in their back pocket. They get it to Barney again. And these two freshmen, Barney the leading receiver, they move him all around on offense out of Miami, and he's just so dynamic. They told us they want to get him the ball in space today.
Well, I think he's went from freshman gadget player to really the leader of this receiving core, most explosive player on this offense. Down the field, and you watch him, a little slide route coming out the back door. this is the guy that UCLA has prepared for. They're just circling him on every snap. Where is he? They have to know.
A drive extended after a penalty by UCLA. Dowdell runs right into Carson Schlesinger, who holds on for the tackle. Tough tackle.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch. And here comes that 2-quarterback system. Heinrich Haarberg comes on in here in the red zone. We've watched his role just grow. He and Schlesinger, this is going to be a nice little matchup because I think Haarberg isn't just the running guy. We know he can throw. He's played a bunch of snaps at quarterback. Let's see how he gets deployed here.
Dowdell offset, and Haarberg, QB2, is the back. They give it to Dowdell, and Dowdell is able to get the first down on 3rd and short and set up a 1st and goal on a pickup of 6.
Yeah, that's the influence of Haarberg, right? Isn't he getting the ball? There's such attention to specialty players that a little hesitation from these linebackers. Is it going to go outside to the dynamic quarterback, H-back, whatever you want to call Haarberg? He can do so much. Just brings so much attention.
And so now 1st and goal. Nebraska 14th in the league in touchdown percentage in the red zone. But they give it to Dowdell, and he keeps turning for the Husker touchdown. All right, they turned the switch on.
Well, they got some help on the personal foul. They made a great play down the field. Ended up paying off for 6.
7. John Hull with the extra point.
Oftentimes in this formation, the run goes across the face of the offensive line. This goes right downhill, right over the defenders. We got a game.
Well, Matt Rule recruited Ja'Cory Barney like his life depended on it out of Miami. And Ja'Cory Barney has brought life here to this Nebraska offense. It set up the Dante Dowdell touchdown, and they got Nebraska on the board. UCLA, I showed you the graphic earlier, has run a ton of plays today. And it looked like they were going to get the ball after another 3 and out, but an unsportsmanlike penalty on Oluwafemi Oladejo, and that's what Nebraska did after the penalty. 6 plays and 60 yards. And so now UCLA's offense will come back out to try and respond. But first, let's check in Chicago with Dave Revson for another studio update.
All right, fellas, number 1 Oregon getting a game in Ann Arbor. Was tied at 7 when Noah Whittington takes it in here to give the Ducks a 14-7 lead. That's where it stands in the second.
Dante Dowdell, the former Oregon running back who scored here. Some big games today. But it's November. I mean, this is when the games really matter. This one we know matters so much to Nebraska. Trying for the 3rd week in a row to become bowl eligible. And UCLA is trying to come from the back of the pack to do the same thing. There's Harden with less than a yard. You mentioned Oladejo was the one who committed the penalty that extended the drive. And you can see him saying, my bad.
Yeah, he's a veteran. He's a leader.
Offense, number 25.
An injured player down on the field for UCLA. And so we'll step aside here in Lincoln. Actually, that player has popped up pretty quickly, and it's TJ Harden. So we'll stay here as Harden walks off the field for the Bruins. And so now 2nd down and 9. It wasn't that, remember, for the first 2 UCLA possessions, it wasn't that they weren't in 3rd down situations. They just converted a lot of them. Can they get a manageable spot here with this crowd back into it? And Garbers throwing over Quasi Gilmer's head, and now it's 3rd and 9.
They've struggled on first down in this game, UCLA's offense. They usually got half on second to set up 3rd and manageable. They got nothing there on second, so now here we are for Nebraska, this black shirt defense. You got James Williams in, the pass rush specialist coming off the edge. You got the speed of Javen Wright. He'll be matched up against the tight end of the back. But I would try to heat Ethan Garbers up a little bit, bring a little pressure off the edge from this aggressive defense.
He's been perfect on 3rd down passing so far today. Here comes pressure, 2 extra rushers. Garbers is going to step up, and he'll pick up the 1st down and more across midfield. Garbers looking over his shoulder, cutting it across the hash, and getting all the way down inside the red zone. 58-yard run.
This is impressive. He feels the pressure. He slides a little to his left, sees man-to-man coverage, says, no problem, I got this. And then, nope, not going to slide. Puts his right foot in the ground against Deshaun Singleton, and away he goes for another explosive play. And it's a nice job of him of not attempting to slide. We've seen this rule. Remember a year ago, if you faked like you were going to slide and then didn't, it was going to be a penalty. He kept running, a little hesitation, put his foot in the ground. We'll be back in a moment after another long Ethan Garbers run.
Well, last week against Rutgers, Ethan Garbers had a career-long 49-yard run. This is the last game 2 weeks ago against Rutgers. You go, all right, well, that was cool. How many times are you going to do that? A moment ago, a 57-yard run from Garbers on 3rd and 9.
And a nice job just trusting his own athleticism, right? He thinks he's a pretty good athlete, and I think the facts and the proof would back it up.
So now 2 backs for UCLA. Pressure coming off the middle, and Garbers able to get out and get a couple. It was Jamari Butler pressuring him up the gut.
Ethan Garbers, over the last, call it 6 quarters, guy, has really been playing his best football of his collegiate career. Remember, it's a new system with Deshaun Foster in his first year as the head coach, Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator. It's very intricate. They missed on a bunch of little things in the first half of this season, have found a little bit of a rhythm in their last 2 games, and especially the last 6 quarters with Garbers.
The dynamic back is Keegan Jones. Quick throw, and that's Mokiawati Malala, and it'll bring up 3rd down and short.
Yeah, a little RPO right there. And this is all, for a first-year head coach, you're managing this situation, right? It's 3rd and short. Is it 4-down territory? Are you going to kick it? You know the situation.
Is
here.
It 4-down territory?
I don't know. I mean, he's been aggressive this season. It's 3rd and not a lot. I'd go QB sneak here. You got to find a way to submarine against these monster D tackles.
They'll give it to Berger, and does he slide his way in? This is going to be really close. The mark looks short, and it's going to be 4th down and maybe half a yard. Ty Robinson, Nash Hutmaker, good luck.
And I think they're going to go for it here. Here comes some extra offensive linemen in for UCLA. They have this package, have utilized it this season at times. And the challenge is the strength of Nebraska is the interior of this defensive line, and they have had 4th down stops. In fact, 6 in a row against Rutgers in this stadium a couple weeks ago.
If they could get this one, this place would go wild. Whistles before the play gets off. Whistles stop the play, and we'll take a 30-second break.
Timeout, Nebraska. Their first of the half. You have 30-second charge time.
So Nebraska took that timeout before the 4th and inches. See UCLA, what they've done this year on 4th down, 7 of 10.
Looks like UCLA is coming back, just the traditional personnel grouping. Not 2 extra offensive linemen. Deshaun Foster might be calling a timeout here. Yep, here we go, another timeout.
UCLA is going to take a timeout, and we'll be back in 30 seconds. 4th and inches coming up. Look at this. Already the first 100-yard rushing game of the season for UCLA. They're on 102. They really want to get to 103.
Well, now it looks like they're just going to try to get 3. Different decision from Deshaun Foster after that timeout.
Mateen Bagani has come on for the field goal attempt of 26 yards. Already one made today. And he's got that one. So Nebraska holds UCLA to a field goal. It's 13-7, and we'll be back in 30 seconds. Well, this was September 14th, 2013, an emotional day because UCLA had just lost a player. Nick Pasquale just died a week prior. Earlier that week, in fact, they came to Nebraska and were embraced in a way that no road team could ever imagine. Nebraska wearing Nick's number 36 on the helmet. They released 200 gold and blue balloons. And then on top of it, there was an incredible game. And UCLA had a wild comeback in a moment that certainly must have felt like something larger was at play. And after his passing, his number 36 now gets awarded to a player that really represents the type of Bruin that he was. And for UCLA this year, it's Joshua Swift. There he is with some of the Pasquale family, hugging, honoring him as he honors their brother and son. And UCLA honors Nick Pasquale's memory.
Yeah, and hugging Joshua Swift was A.J. Pasquale, Nick's brother. We had a chance to connect with the family earlier this week. They talked about the influence of not only Nebraska, but the community back at home, of helping them just navigate what many of us could never even imagine with the loss of a son and a brother.
Rhett, it's just amazing to go back and think about that day back in 2013 and what it must have been like for the Bruins.
Jim Mora was the head coach then. I talked to him this week, guys, and just could not believe the outpouring of support that he got from the Nebraska program and the Nebraska fans. And actually in that game, UCLA came out, flat, and they were down big at the half. But Jim Mora had brought in the Navy SEALs to work with his team in training camp prior to that year. He brought them back for that game because he felt like his team needed it. So they're down big at the half, and he didn't know what he was going to say to the team. And the Navy SEALs who were with him said, "Coach, just take your coaches into the coaches' locker room. We got this." There were no adjustments made. There were no coaching points made at halftime. They came back out on the field, and after the SEALs talked to him, they scored the next 31 points and won the game. Powerful scene.
There was Jim Mora tweeting about it this week in memory of what a moment it was. Deshaun Foster was on that staff. Jerry Neuheisel, now the tight ends coach, was on that team, a teammate of Nick Pasquale. There's Raiola. That ball was deflected by Carson Schlesinger and incomplete.
And just another note on that story. It was such a powerful one. I know anybody who's wearing number 36 is so engaged and connected. There's Joshua Swift, excited about that stop there on the 3rd down. But in that game, at halftime, the Pasquale family said, they were watching at their home in Orange County in San Clemente, and they said, we got to change the environment up. They go down to a place called the OC Tavern near their home in San Clemente. It happened to also be the place where the Nebraska Alumni Association was having a watch party. They went in there, they were embraced, and they said it began a challenging and almost unimaginable grieving process and also a healing process. Talked to Jerry Neuheisel before the game. There was no question they were going to continue to honor Nick and the Pasquale family with the jersey number 36 and the scholarship in which that they offer every single year to whoever earns that number. And they'll never forget the impact of Nick. And I think the comeback that referenced was a great reflection of who Nick was. He was a fighter, he was a competitor, found his way onto the field as a walk-on.
Yeah, Jim Mora also said that he had talked to the team before the game about, hey, we need to get a ball in this game. Talk to his defense. We need a turnover. We need to get a ball so that we can have it and dedicate that to Nick with that football from this game. He said in the second half, Anthony Jefferson recovered a second-half fumble, ran it straight to Jim Mora, put it in his stomach, and said, "For Nick." Pretty special day.
Unbelievable. I mean, we talked to Deshaun Foster. He said to have a visiting team and crowd comfort us that way was like nothing we could have imagined.
The Squally family is such a big part of this team. They'll be guests of the Bruins next week in their Friday night game at home at the Rose Bowl against Iowa as well.
This play blown up from the jump. And it's just a reminder, too, you know, you think about the big picture, UCLA, Nebraska feels so unusual, but it's not in many ways. It's the 14th meeting between the two. They played a lot in the 80s and 90s, almost every other year. You mentioned it. Nick Pasquale went to the Rose Bowl and saw Nebraska as a kid, and then, of course, after his passing was honored here. And so even though this feels so unfamiliar for some people at UCLA and for some people at Nebraska, it's hard to get anything that feels better than UCLA versus the Cornhuskers. Third down for the Bruins. Offenses have kind of stalled out. Flags down, and that stops the play.
False out. Offense. Not all players were set. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
So the rhythm that UCLA had through the majority of this first half, have not seen it on this drive. And this defensive front of Nebraska will continue to rotate body after body, finding ways to penetrate the backfield of the Bruins.
Scoring before the half has been really hard to do on Nebraska's defense. This is a 3rd and 14. Garbers with time and behind his intended receiver, Mokiawa Timalala. There's Tommy Hill playing banged up today, but he was all over that.
Yeah, and there's a window here. It's just a miss from Garbers. Tommy Hill all over it. It would have been an incredible catch, but a nice job breaking on the ball from a guy that I know every fan of Nebraska is excited to see back on the field battling a foot injury the last couple weeks.
Brody Richter to punt it away to Isaiah Garcia Castaneda. And he'll fair catch it, and we'll be back in 15 seconds. Experience the expanded Big Ten Conference like never before with Big Ten Plus. Thousands of non-televised live events across the Big Ten. Plus, enjoy next-day game replays for every Big Ten game. Subscribe right now at BigTenPlus.com. First carry for Emmett Johnson, and that gets 3, maybe 4 yards on first down for Nebraska.
Okay, so now here we are. We're in that vaunted middle 8. We talk about it every week. The last 4 minutes, the second half, the first 4 of the third quarter. Nebraska's been phenomenal in the middle 8. They haven't allowed any points other than the Indiana game where everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong for them. Can they capitalize on it here? Can they get a score? Can they eat up the clock, not give UCLA the ball back in the first half? To do it, they've got to continue to find success running the football guy.
This is just Nebraska's 17th play of the game. Out of the pistol, Emmett Johnson running downhill, and he's tackled right away. Jacob Busick, who's getting a lot of snaps today with that tackle, and it's third down.
Third down, they want to try to find Thomas Fidone the ball. He hasn't been in on a lot of run plays in the last couple weeks within this offense, trying to find him as a threat down the field. I think they like the matchup, him against the linebackers of UCLA lined up against Jalen Woods right now at the bottom of the screen in the slot.
Here comes pressure. Raiola is just going to get rid of it, and it's fourth down. A quick possession.
There was an eligible receiver in the area. The quarterback was outside the pocket. No foul for intentional grounding. Fourth down.
I mean, imagine playing quarterback. You got people at your feet. You've got so many defenders, right? They line up in an initial look. Look at just the push from Oluwafemi Oladejo. I mean, UCLA and Akaika Malloy have done a really impressive job this half of giving variety of looks within the snap, within the pre-snap look of Dylan Raiola.
Third punt of the game coming up for Brian Buschini. As UCLA tries to set up the return, this sends Loya back. Buschini already had a 64-yarder today, but Loya is finding some space, reverses field, running all over, and gets it out to the 25. We'll be back in 15 seconds. Let's take a look at today's QB comparison, powered by Unleaded 88.
Well, look, the numbers clearly don't go in favor of Dylan Raiola, but you also got to look at the total numbers of plays, only 18 to 33 when you're comping both offenses today. And for Raiola, they've just struggled finding an answer to the variety of looks the Bruin defense has given that front.
Garber's incomplete, looking for his running back. Flag is down. He was looking for Keegan Jones. Flag in the secondary.
Illegal formation, offense. Number 72 was in the backfield. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
It's the right tackle, Garrett DiGiorgio.
I mean, every penalty for UCLA has been, to me, a self-inflicted negative.
Well, you had the one personal foul, which was a big, and then the other 3 have been formational.
That's right.
Or false start.
I mean, you can get away. Okay, PIs are going to happen. Things are going to happen in that regard, but it's kind of been a story for this team. It's a big part of Deshaun Foster's emphasis.
Garbers. Monteval sticks it right in his big paws, and that's going to be very close. It is a first down, a pickup of 15 on 1st and 15.
I mean, look at this. Is 4 people around the ball. Watch him just pluck that thing. Look at his eyes. The focus all the way to the tuck in front of 3 defenders. Are you kidding me? See if UCLA lets the clock go all the way down to the 2-minute timeout or try to run another one. Looks like they're going to let it roll.
2-minute timeout.
They have a couple of timeouts, and UCLA has a shot to try and get it down before the halftime break as well. It's a 13-7 game in Lincoln. Coming up, stick around for the Old Trapper halftime report. Dave, Ashley, Marcel take you through the first half highlights and get you ready for the rest of a busy Saturday across the Big Ten. That's next on the Old Trapper halftime report. Did Ashley bring Halloween costumes, or did everybody get off easy in Chicago this weekend? She's trouble. Yeah. Look at what Garbers has done the last 6 quarters. Do that math, Yogi. 46 of 54.
Yeah, 85%, I believe, if my math is right there. He's been trouble for every defense. UCLA trying to get one here.
Under 2 minutes, they've got 2 timeouts, and Garbers connects to Quasi Gilmer out to midfield, a first down.
So here's the challenge if you're Tony White going up against Ethan Garbers. Watch him spin it again, is if you don't bring pressure and give him a clean picture, he can carve you up. If you do, he's smart enough in terms of his football acumen when to get rid of the ball. And also, he's had, for the most part, all spot throws. He's missed on 1 throw thus far this half. So to me, Guy, you've got to change the look pre-snap. There it is now. You shift the defensive front a little bit, make them think.
MJ Sherman comes on pressure. He's picked up by Harden. Garber stumbles down. He's going to lose yardage. And the clock keeps rolling. 4 yards backwards.
How about the pickup from TJ Harden and then just the pursuit from Nebraska. I mean, these teams are so physical right now. Here we go.
Monteval, the tight end, he's going to get some of that yardage back. Pickup of 6.
Okay, so now you're managing the clock if you're Deshaun Foster. You're saying, okay, you don't have to be in a dramatic rush, right? This is the old John Wooden. Be quick but not in a hurry as we get a timeout.
UCLA.
And we'll be back in 30 seconds. UCLA took the timeout with 1:26 here before this 3rd down play. What is Eric Bieniemy thinking?
Well, they've had success with Logan Loya in the slot on the corner routes, especially if you see 2 high safeties for Nebraska. If I'm this black shirt defense against Eric Bieniemy, I'm going to change the front and bring a little pressure from depth. These linebackers are so fast by the time they get into the backfield. It looks like it's man-to-man coverage.
Garbers pressured, gets rid of it. He was brought down by Jamari Butler incomplete pass, and it's 4th down. Clock stops at 1:21.
Big props right there.
Incomplete.
From the
4th down.
The Nebraska secondary, and then just the effort. You see Butler, he just kept working and working and got the win against Spencer Holstich on the offensive line. Garbers had enough time early on, but nobody was open, gloved up on the back end. And then eventually just too much time to allow that defense to get home.
So now Brody Richter on to punt. Isaiah Garcia Castaneda back inside his 10-yard line. This is hanging. And it's caught, fair caught at the 14. Still to come, the triple header rolls on as the Trojans collide with the Huskies tonight at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Nebraska's going to get the ball first to start the second half. UCLA won the opening toss of this game, took the ball, drove the field, 14 plays, field goal, then scored a touchdown. They're up 10-0. Looked like they were going to force Nebraska to punt, but committed a penalty that extended the drive. Nebraska got the touchdown and now has a chance to maybe take the lead. They've got 2 timeouts. And Raiola had time until he didn't. Brought down by Sharif Say. And the extra pressure from Jalen Davies. Loss of 8.
Yeah, Davies is going to come right into that gap right there, and away he goes. Right now, UCLA is saying, hey, if you're Dylan Raiola, you got to get rid of the ball to your first read. But they're taking that first read away. He's trying to get to number 2 in his progression. And by the time he is, somebody has been in his lap all game long.
And now even with those 2 timeouts, Nebraska's in no rush as the clock ticks down. 30 seconds remaining in the half. And then they'll hand it off to Ramir Johnson. There were big swings of momentum early in this game, and then things have kind of settled down here in these last few possessions.
Well, I am so looking forward to this second half because the adjustments made by either staff is going to be what will dictate who walks out of this stadium when it gets a little dark victorious. Because Nebraska's got to find a way against this UCLA defensive front 7. UCLA's got to find a way to continue to run the football and win on early downs. Coaches can't get to the locker rooms any faster.
After a bye week that came after a road win, UCLA with a fast start. They've looked good on the road. They went to Penn State. They went to LSU. They went to Rutgers across the country. And now they've come in here to Nebraska, and they lead. And down on the field, Brett Lewis with Deshaun Foster.
All right, Coach, offensively, your team's staying on the field, dominating in time of possession. What do you like about the way that they're performing right now?
Just coming out and making plays. You know, Ethan's getting the ball around. He's able to get out of there. And we're just finding ways to stay on the field.
How comfortable is your quarterback right now, even going back the last couple of quarters?
You know, when the O-line can really protect him, he does a really good job. So, and he's really he's a threat with his legs, you know. But
let's call this some competitive chippiness. Obviously, the penalty on Oluwafemi ignited that touchdown drive from Nebraska. What's your message to your team on that front?
It should be 13-0.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
The old running back smiling when he brought up his quarterback, Ethan Garbers. They've got a running game. UCLA's running the ball. The young Ja'Cory Barney has shown up. Ethan Garbers having another great day, and UCLA leads at the half.
Halftime in Lincoln. Jalen Berger on his 3rd Big Ten school gets his 2nd touchdown as a Bruin. UCLA on top on the road, 13-7 over Nebraska. So we welcome you in to the Old Trapper halftime. Dave Revson, Ashley Adamson, and Marcel Reese. Tell you what, UCLA, that offense really woke up against Rutgers, and they have carried it forward as they look good once again here in the first half, Marcel.
Yeah, Dave, we talked last week about UCLA building onto the success that they've had over the last couple weeks of the season, and they're doing that. This is a really good Nebraska defense, and UCLA already at the half has 99 yards on the ground. Of course, you have the big one by Ethan Garbers for 57 yards.
Distorts the
career high
a little,
for him.
yes.
It may seem a little distorted, but this UCLA team is playing with much more confidence right now.
Yeah, and just keep in mind, UCLA has not rushed for over 100 yards under Deshaun Foster, so one more yard and they'll hit that mark. Dylan Raiola, you look at his stats, and it's interesting. He hasn't thrown a touchdown pass since September 28th against Purdue. So you just wonder, can they get it going, that offense rolling in the second half? But hats off to the Bruins, who have been terrific. We got a lot of great action to catch you up on. So let's start at the Big House. A huge one between Oregon and Michigan. The Ducks trying to get to 9-0 for the third time in program history. Early on, Davis Warren to Tyler Morris, and we are even at 7.
Fantastic catch.
I'm loving the all-whites for the Ducks, by the way. Noah Whittington, he's got 2 touchdowns. Des Johnson, he suffered a shoulder injury on the first drive, has not returned, but the Ducks are rolling up 28-10 at the half.
So they are on their way to 9-0. Indiana trying to get to 9-0 for the first time ever, but they were down 3-0 to Michigan State. First time they had trailed all year. These were the first quarter points they had allowed all year. Nick Marsh, that is a heck of a catch. It was 10-0 Spartans. But back comes Indiana. Tyson Lawton, his 9th touchdown of the year, and the Hoosiers, 21 straight points heading to the half, up 11.
It's been a great day for the road teams, guys. The early games all went down to the wire, including the headliner from a not-so-happy Valley. We'll show you how everything transpired as the Buckeyes deliver a familiar blow to the Nittany Lions. Keep it right here.
Game of the day, number 4, Ohio State visiting 3rd-ranked Penn State. Late first quarter, Buckeyes already down 3-zip. Zion Tracy, the pick 6. One of 2 turnovers for Will Howard on the day. Penn State on top 10-0. Now early second quarter, Howard atoning. He hits Brandon Innes here for the 21-yard touchdown. Buckeyes go up 14-10 at the break. Late to the 4th, this may ring a bell for Huskers fans. A 4th and goal, and Ohio State stands tall, incomplete there. 8th straight win over Penn State for the Buckeyes. Ryan Day and Chip Kelly loving it. 20-13, the final.
Let's go to Champaign. Number 24, Illinois, hosting Minnesota. Fourth quarter, Illini down 16-10 until Luke Altmaier finds Zachary Franklin, and Illinois on top by 1. Following drive, Gophers on the doorstep. Max Brosmer to Jamison Gears. They would go for 2, wouldn't get it, so it's 22-17. Less than a minute to go. Illini down 25-17. Altmaier dropping back, and down he goes. Minnesota, they've won 4 in a row. It's their 2nd-ranked win of the season, and they are bowl eligible.
Northwestern and Purdue, let's pick it up in overtime. Purdue on a 4th and 6 with the first possession in the overtime decides to go for it rather than kick a field goal. They throw it incomplete. Northwestern ball, and on the ensuing possession, it is Jack Lausch finding Joseph Hyman, his 2nd touchdown of the game, gives the Cats the overtime win, 26-20. Let's dive back into that Ohio State-Penn State game. Again, a huge win for the Buckeyes. We had wondered about the offensive line. They ran the ball extremely well. And, man, the defense came up big, Marcel.
Dave, this defense really showed up. And we often talk about the roster and the players of Ohio State. I have to give love to Jim Knowles and the scheme that they came in against the Penn State Nittany Lions today. They really changed it up. Known to play man defense, at certain times, critical times, they changed the zone and really confused that Penn State offense. You know that Will Howard is feeling very happy. He, of course, grew up wanting to play for Penn State, didn't get recruited, talked about how much this game meant to him. But really, I mean, kind of to your point, the story of the game is that Penn State was inside the 5-yard line on offense and came up empty-handed twice. They were stingy. Ohio State defense was stingy. They bent a little bit, gave up 120 yards on the ground, but when it counted, they gave up absolutely nothing. Got penetration from the front 4 and locked it up on the back end. It was really a fantastic showing by this defense. Both of these teams now 7-1, 4-1 in Big Ten play. So now just 2 undefeated teams remaining in the Big Ten. Much more to come from Lincoln, Nebraska. Here on the Big Ten Network, Dante Dowdell has the Huskers
Only points of the first half, 13-7 right now. More work to do on offense. We'll be back after this.
Big Ten Live Football Halftime, presented by Old Trapper. What's your beef?
3 of the 4 new Big Ten schools on our air today. USC and Washington to follow this one. A series that dates back 101 years. Homecoming in Seattle. They'll kick it off at 7:30 Eastern time. But first, the Bruins got to finish things up with the Huskers. Ethan Garber's second straight game. He has rumbled longer than 40 yards in one fell swoop. 13-7 in favor of the Bruins. Second half ahead.
Today's Big Impact research takes us to Lincoln and the Center for Brain Biology and Behavior. Associate Professor Maital Neta uses the latest technology along with functional MRI and resting state functional MRI to study those networks in the human brain that support decision-making processes related to emotional regulation and task control. Faculty working in the Center for Brain Biology and Behavior have also collaborated with Nebraska Athletics to examine factors relating to concussion and traumatic brain injury. Just about ready for the second half here in Lincoln. UCLA leading 13-7. It's the third week in a row that UCLA, the third game in a row for the Bruins that they've led at the half. Let's take a look at today's quick clips brought to you by Sport Clips.
Well, a huge part of this game has been the third down success rate for the UCLA Bruins. 6 of 10 in the first half. A bunch through the air. Done a nice job, Ethan Garber's finding holes in the defense. Playmakers making plays, but it's really been his legs. 2 times got the Bruins out of trouble converting third down. Of course, this one, the longest run of the season for the Bruins in back-to-back games where that man had the longest run in Ethan Garber's, once against Rutgers, then here against Nebraska in the first half.
Take a look at the first half stats. UCLA had 2 drives over 6 minutes. One 6.5, one 8 minutes. Nebraska had 1 drive in the first half that lasted more than 2 minutes. That was 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Halloween weekend here in Lincoln. A lot of people dress like Dylan Raiola. And Dylan's probably thinking, I need to get back to being myself in this second half as well. The good news for Nebraska, they will get the ball first. And let's go down to Rhett Lewis.
Yeah, talk to Matt Rule coming out of the tunnel. He was happy with the way his defense responded on UCLA's last couple of drives, but said when we have a chance to make a play on the quarterback, we can't miss, which made me think of that free runner that Willis McGahee got where he allowed Garbers to get out of the pocket and move the sticks. Then offensively, he said they're seeing a ton of zero blitz. Somebody has got to go make a play one-on-one when they're in those type of situations for their quarterback, Dylan Raiola.
20 total first half plays for Nebraska. They ran 3 in the first quarter alone. But they're right in this game as they get the ball to start the second half. And Raiola wants to throw. And throws a pick. Kane Medrano intercepts it. He only has Raiola to beat, and he does. A pick 6. Touchdown Bruins. And the Halloween weekend nightmare continues for the Cornhuskers.
37 yards to the touchdown. Lakeith Ducati on the next point.
How about that start of the half for the Bruins? Are you kidding me? They don't bring pressure. Team captain, leader, Medrano reads the eyes of the quarterback and all smiles on that Bruins sideline. There he is, number 20, right there to the right of your screen. He drops back, sees Fedoni, reads it the whole time. Ball's thrown right to him, makes the play, and then how about the hurdle? Former wide receiver, track and field star coming out of Colorado in high school. finds his way into the end zone. I'd imagine they're going to take a look to see, is he out right here, guy? White cleats, white line. Does not look like he hit the white on the field, at least with that right foot. How about that left? Nope.
Oh, wow. You know, this is a guy, he is a track star. He's a thrower, right? It's the javelin, it's the discus, it's the shot put. And he told us this week, throwing shot put, let's check the review.
On the field is confirmed, touchdown.
You know, Ken Medrano was a shot put thrower at the end of his high school career, which Deshaun Foster loves. He loves multi-sport athletes. And he said, it really taught me how to use my speed and my power together, because I'm not a big guy. I had to be really good at timing. And he timed that interception and that leap perfectly. A leader, a captain on this team. That scene means so much to him. We talked to him about it this week. And he starts with a huge play. Oh, you can hear a pin drop right now.
Well, the energy was easily felt coming out to kick off the third quarter. And how about this? They don't bring a blitz, just a little twist up front. The hardest thing for young quarterbacks, guy, we talk about it all the time in preparation for games, is throwing to your left. That's often a blind spot. Dylan Raiola never saw 20 Kane Medrano dropping into coverage. He looked to his tight end, and then to Jamal Banks, and then after the pick, how about the athleticism, tiptoeing. It's almost like he looked down to the sideline to make sure he confirmed it was clear and obvious he was in bounds. Look at his eyes. Yeah, I'm looking down to make sure I'm good. And then he finds his way to the end zone. And that is how, if you're on the road in front of this environment, 402nd straight sellout, that's an impressive start to the second half.
You know, we've talked about it. You see the Bruins play the last 3 games, and you go, is this team still dialed in? Can they still be locked in? They played well at home against Minnesota 4 weeks ago, lost in heartbreaking fashion. They go on the road to Rutgers, they win. And you know, one thing, Yogi, you asked a lot of these players about was how they maintain their energy at practice during the week, especially coming out of the bye. It was a big focus for them.
DRE, right? That is all Deshaun Foster, and the E is for enthusiasm. And they have remained enthusiastic. Look at the celebration there on the sideline. Coaches, players. This is a team that, amid a challenging schedule, to your point, they have really stayed connected. Big part of that is that man with a C on his chest. Now they got to come do it again. Look, Nebraska's been in adversity as well this season. They're not going to lay down. They're going to come out and try to put together the most impressive drive of the day.
Raiola is going to hand it off to Ramir Johnson, who bursts forward and picks up about 4 yards. So much talk about Ohio State last week, but let's go back 2 weeks and the lessons of what happened to them against Indiana. They get down and they kind of lost the ability to fight back. It wasn't that there wasn't effort, Matt Rule told us. He just thought his team stopped believing they could win. Yeah. So now they're tested again. How will Nebraska respond?
Yeah, well, look, it's only 20-7, and there's a ton of football left. They talked about the Indiana game, saying, hey, let's not be victims. Let's not feel sorry for ourselves. So I'd imagine they're pulling on that experience and, okay, next play, next snap, let's run the ball again.
Johnson, a big run. And that's a first down.
And this is where they've had success, these quick-hitting runs. Just getting the ball immediately to the back. See them sealing off, double team. Jay Toia, nice job there on the inside and the offensive line from Justin Evans. And the back, Ramir Johnson, does the rest. 2 runs in a row for success.
Well, what is Matt Rule so obsessed with? Process, right? And he told us he had so many one-on-one meetings with players after that Indiana game, saying just worry about your job, right? So has his team heard this message? They're going to go back to the ground. And a strong run from Dowdell on first down. And let's go down to Rhett.
Yeah, you know, guys, looking at the way that Nebraska is choosing to kind of stem the tide here, felt like talking to Coach Marcus Satterfield, the offensive coordinator, on Friday, that their best path forward might be through the run, through the air, right? Passing the ball down the field. But maybe with some of the looks that UCLA has been sending, some of that zero blitz, they're finding a way to kind of settle things down on the ground here with both Ramir Johnson and Dante Dowdell, who remains in there next to Raiola.
They'll give it to Dowdell. And he's got the first down.
Yeah, right. You're on it. I mean, adjustments are a huge part of halftime, especially now with the iPads. And for this Nebraska offense against Deshaun Foster's group, it's these downhill runs. They had success in the first half doing them. They just didn't have the ball a lot. And to your point, when they dropped back, there was nothing doing. There were people in the lap of Dylan Raiola. I would imagine they keep coming back to the run, and then it's going to be these quick passes where they get the receivers out the back door, like 17, Ja'Cory Barney. He's back in on the field now.
4 straight run plays after the pick six, make it 5 in a row. Back to Dowdell. And he's able to get a couple of yards where it looked like maybe there was nothing. Rhett?
Yeah, oh boy, it feels like every other couple of plays here, there's been some of that competitive chippiness that we talked about with Deshaun Foster after the game. It actually started before the game too, by the way. There was some jawing back and forth at midfield with both coaching staffs. I think both teams realize like what this opportunity can mean and really kind of bringing out the fire and the passion in all of them.
Well, you're right. I mean, this is so big for Nebraska. They're sitting on 5 wins, 5-3. They were 5-3 last year. Looked like they were going to break the bowl drought and finish the season with nothing but losses. Here they are, 5-3 for the 3rd week in a row, trying to get to bowl eligibility. Emmett Johnson brought down by Carson Schlesinger. And I know it feels like a pipe dream when you say, well, just win 4 or 5 and you can go to a bowl for UCLA, but they are thinking that, right? That's what Kane Medrano told us. He said the message internally has been, let's get it done this week and then next week, and then maybe December will be what we want it to be.
I think ever since that Indiana game early in the season, both of these teams challenging efforts in those games when they played them. They bounced back since then. They've had opportunities. They just haven't played a complete game. Even the win 2 weeks ago against Rutgers, they had issues towards the end of that penalty-wise.
3rd down. Raiola pressured, looking, and it's caught. Saving that from trouble was Jamal Banks, but it's 4th down.
Yeah, so what UCLA had success in the first half and did on that 3rd down as well. And I'm curious here if Matt Rhule says, hey, let's go for it here. Is it 4 down territory? And I think they are going to go for it. They're giving Dylan Raiola 1 look pre-snap, and then as he's in his cadence, they're giving him another one. And then as the snap happens, they're deploying to a different place. So there's like 3 different looks in front of Dylan Raiola on any given snap. And when it's an obvious passing down, he and this offense have struggled.
Emmett Johnson is the back on 4th down and 3. Low snap, but Raiola was able to handle it. Flushed, throws, incomplete to Nair. And Nebraska, a drive that started with so much promise, turns it over on downs.
Okay, so let's play quarterback now if you're Dylan Raiola, because there's a shot there to Fedoni, right? Freeze it. The ball's got to be out right there, guy. He's got a shot, whether it's to his back to his left or Fedoni to his right, and he doesn't, and there's been nothing doing in the back end. UCLA all over it. Deshaun Foster loves it. His team responds.
Well, many of you probably know about the We Give Blood Drive, the great partnership between the Big Ten and Abbott. And look at this, Nebraska leading the way. Here's the leaderboard. Live save as of November 1st. The We Give Blood Drive leaderboard sponsored by Abbott. The winning school will be announced at the Big Ten Championship game and receive $1 million to advance student and community health. So UCLA takes over and Ethan Garbers gets sacked to start the drive.
We weren't in that locker room at halftime, but I would imagine Ty Robinson had a few things to say. Just dominant effort, right? Right through the offensive front. And Josh Carlin and Sam Yoon and company. And for Garbers again, first half of the season, hold on to the ball. When he's been at his best, he's getting rid of the rock. He had a chance to get rid of the ball. You've got to do it as they line up in this bunch formation.
TJ Harden on the toss. Harden keeps his feet, and he's got a first down. How did he escape?
Really nice job, Ethan Garbers, audibling at the line of scrimmage to the toss where they got numbers. There comes DeGiorgio, there comes Matavao, and how about the legs? They come right through Bullock, Gifford. I mean, these are vets on this black shirt defense. Continues on for a 9-yard gain.
Deshaun Singleton coming over may have saved a touchdown.
Yeah.
it feels like you look up and UCLA's 2nd and 15, 3rd and 9, and somehow they've been able to sustain drives despite it. 3rd down and 1. Play clock low. Deshaun Foster needs to use a timeout.
He's frustrated there.
3rd and 1 coming up here with 8:43 to go in the 3rd quarter. UCLA was not charged a timeout. There was a review to see if TJ Harden got the first down. This was ruled initially 3rd and 1, but upon review, it's a first down.
Great call by the officials. Good job in the administration of stopping the play, evaluating where TJ Harden was. First down, UCLA. Now, first down is where UCLA has also had struggles. When they've run the football, they have not gained very many yards. About 2 yards on average in the first half, and an 8-yard sack to start this initial drive of the second half here for this offense. This defensive front's doing a nice job offensively, or defensively on early downs. It's just those long runs and especially 3rd down conversions where the Bruins have had success.
Play action. Garbers. Sideline. Gilmer. Wide open. Touchdown Bruins. 48-yard strike. And Ethan Garbers is playing the best football of his life right now.
Under pressure, blitz coming off the edge. Garber sees man-to-man the whole time. It's a beautiful corner route from Gilmer. And 6.
Point lead for UCLA.
How about this route? There's pressure, and then here comes the route on the corner route. All day long, Nebraska thinking he's going to come across the field. He says, not putting my right foot in the ground, and I'm going to the end zone. And the freshman on the road says, okay, I can do this too. And Garber's saying, finally, it might be coming again.
First 5 games, 9 picks, 4 touchdowns. Last 2 games, no picks, 6 touchdowns for Ethan Garbers.
He's had a different offensive line in those recent games as well.
Let's go back to the touchdown, Yogi.
Well, he recognizes pressure, and he sees as he turns his eyes back to the defense that it's man-to-man coverage, and Gilmer's got it all day long. Separates from the secondary. Beautiful route. Touchdown for the freshman.
Well, you know, Yogi and I have an affinity for the route technique of receivers with our backgrounds. And I'm telling you, I was down right here where Quasi Gilmer made the break on Marquise Buford. You could hear that right foot hit the ground. That helped generate about 5 yards of separation.
Raiola, and that's to Fedoni. All over that was KJ Wallace. Let's go back to Chicago for a studio update, Dave.
Well, Guy, Indiana has scored 30 unanswered points after Michigan State got out to that 10-0 lead. Curtis Rourke's 3rd touchdown pass of the game. This one to Miles Price, 30-10 Hoosiers.
Well, you know, they go to Taven Jackson last week, have the emotional game. They play very well. Of course, they had the big game 2 weeks ago against Nebraska in which Curtis Rourke was injured. Now he comes back. Some people in the booth had them on upset alert. Could Michigan State pull it out? And Indiana's looking pretty good.
Yeah, they look like a championship contending team. They do. They deserve all that credit going on the road.
Short yardage and a big run from Dante Dowdell. He had Elijah Judy, the defensive lineman, lead blocking for him.
Yeah, how about this leap like he's in the Olympics? One hurdle, here comes another one against Brian Addison, who stands at 6'5". He's always running like he's downhill. Nice job. He's just being physical, running with aggression. There's a lot of time in this ball game. Nebraska's just got to stay focused. Again, you pull back on that Indiana game 2 weeks ago when it seemed to get out of hand early on. This one might feel that way. I'd imagine that sideline trying to be a little veteran-esque.
Judy remains in the game, and this gets stuffed by Devin Apue. And some pushing and shoving, and flags come in.
Apue on the tackle, flag on the play.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense, number 10. It's his first of the game. 15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
That's the second for UCLA today.
Here's Ali Cajo right here in the middle, number 10. I mean, what are you doing? You just can't do it. You just cannot do it. And when the 3 pillars into Sean Foster's program, the first one starts with discipline. Like, you're just impacting yourself. This Bruin team is not good enough, in my opinion, to overcome mistake after mistake after mistake if they're self-inflicted. Second one of the game extends a drive. See if Nebraska can capitalize again.
It led directly to a touchdown the first time it happened for Nebraska. Raiola. Time. Open. Barney snags it! Jakari Barney came to play today.
Deja vu, anybody? I mean, again, freshman to freshman after a penalty against UCLA. The throw is phenomenal. He throws it to the left of Barney so he can go away from where the defense is, rotates with the ball for a first down.
26-yard pickup. Raiola gets it to Fedoni, and Schlesinger rides him down. Let's look back at the previous play.
How about this throw? Again, when you're throwing the ball down the field as a quarterback, it's on you to know the leverage of the defender and where to place the ball. Beautifully placed. So Barney's got to turn, open up his hip, an easy catch for the dynamic athlete that he is. But the awareness of the throw from Raiola is so impressive.
Raiola, fade, Nair, and he got it! Touchdown, Nebraska!
This is gonna be close. Man-to-man coverage, you knew he was going there. Inside technique from the second, from the DB there. But keep your eye on the feet right here. Where's that right foot? Does the right foot touch first? From up here, I thought it did, but does it touch in? I think so. Called a touchdown.
All scoring plays, of course, reviewed. That play's been cleared, and Nebraska's not going away yet. And the skies are getting darker, and the wind's picking up here in Lincoln.
Isaiah Nair, the 6th-year vet. Look at those eyes of his, that right foot down in bounds. Nebraska not playing victim. No, we've done that before, trying to mount a comeback. How about the hands of Isaiah Nair on the release? Put that on your clinic tape, man. That was beautiful. Halloween is continuing. A fan of Dylan Raiola saying nice throw to QB1. And Nebraska, give him credit. Adversity hit guy. They didn't lay down. They drove right down the field, took advantage of a self-inflicted negative play, found their way to the end zone.
I mean, Dylan Raiola threw a pick-6 on the first play of the second half and has responded. Keegan Jones on the return for UCLA, and he'll go down around the 22-yard line. They had an unsportsmanlike penalty in the first half that instead of a 4th down and punt situation, Nebraska got a first down, extended the drive, scored a touchdown. This one, it was going to be 2nd and 9. But UCLA, dead ball, a shove in the back of a Cornhusker, gives them 15, helps keep the drive moving, and Nebraska capitalizes. So now can the defense answer? The temperature dropping here in Lincoln as Garbers hands it off to Jalen Berger, who gets a big chunk. And let's go down for a vibe check to Rhett.
Yeah, down here on UCLA's sideline, after you guys just laid out the 2 touchdowns for Nebraska coming off the unsportsmanlike penalties on UCLA, well, Deshaun Foster just grabbed the entire defense together down here on their sideline and very sternly let them know what was at stake here with those type of penalties. In the 3 games that we've covered of the Bruins this year, guys, that was the most passionate and colorful that I have seen Deshaun Foster speak to his team.
Good eye, Rhett. Here's Berger, first down. The question is, can this black shirt defense get a stop?
UCLA having success on early downs in the run game, something they did not have in the first half. Average about 2 yards per carry on first down. Here they go, back-to-back plays running the football. Eric Bieniemy, we all know his NFL background, right? Always managing the game, this time and score. What is the environment dictating? I'd imagine they continue to keep it in the hands of that man.
That is incomplete. Looking for Xavier Staples, the wide receiver. Later tonight, the Bruins square off with 10th-ranked Oregon in the Saturday Night Volleyball Showdown. Coverage begins at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Second down and 10. Garbers. There's the tight end, Monteval. First down for UCLA and into Nebraska territory.
This is all Eric Bieniemy, man. Look at the formation, guy. This is an impressive job. See the bunch right here at the bottom of the screen? Everybody's eyes go there. In fact, this linebacker is going to move there as the snap begins. Fake the toss, come right out the back door to Monteval, move the sticks. Really nice job trying to manipulate the aggression of Tony White's 3-3-5 defense. And after going to Xavier Staples, they go to a veteran in the tight end and Monteval for a first down.
Garbers. And Berger just didn't get his head turnaround in time. Yogi, you wonder, J. Michael Sturdivant took a big hit in the first half of this game. Now we're seeing Xavier Staples. He made the catch. He was able to walk off. But perhaps UCLA's offense is down one of its big playmakers.
He's been a guy that's been able to really change and take the top off of the defense. I'd imagine Nebraska just mans up against this receiving core right now.
TJ Harden, and that's about a yard.
You know, again, you go back to the origin of this 3-3-5 defense, and a huge part of this scheme, guy, is trying to force either the quarterback to hang on to the football, force the offensive line to hesitate a little bit with the reads, and get an extra hat, an extra body down inside the box. I'd imagine Nebraska goes right back to that here on a third down and man up on the outside.
Play clock to 2. It's loud. They got it off. Garber steps up, but he can't connect to Gilmer. And it's fourth down.
And it's a really nice job of the man we talked about to start this game. Not only Ty Robinson, but 33 Javen Wright. There's the pressure inside. This is a veteran-laden group. Williams from the outside, Robinson from the inside. Garbers has a chance to make the throw. We know that he missed it. And Javen Wright was all over the route. And we are in 4-down timeout territory.
Yeah. The ball's at the 42. Here comes the punt team now.
I'd imagine they'll just take the penalty.
That's a good call. I mean, for the 42, he's got a tailwind, Brody Richter. So you may be trying to create a little more space. As you said, Yogi, take the intentional delay.
Offense.
Yeah.
5-yard penalty, remains fourth down.
That's a smart decision from Deshaun Foster and company. Not worth burning one of your timeouts. Again, this is a long game. We got a lot of ball left to play. Now you start playing the wind, the field position.
And there is wind. Talking to some of the coaches before the game, and it can be hard to predict. The only thing you can't predict is there will be wind. Richter almost had it blocked. Comes off spinning, but it takes a big UCLA bounce and gets into the end zone. Gilmer couldn't get there, and so Nebraska will have it out of the 20-yard line. Football on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by the Progressive Keys to Progress program, driving veterans and small business forward. Spent a lot of time the last couple of days out in the Haymarket district where these pictures are from, and had a great time.
Sure did. Love coming here. Second game we've been in Lincoln this season, guy. This logo, what this fan base stands for, what this program stands for, and now what's in front of them. We all know what's at stake. Bowl berth again for Nebraska in November.
For the third week in a row, for the second year in a row. Dylan Raiola stepping up. This was a big part of the game last week against Ohio State, making things happen with his legs and getting positive yards.
Yeah, and that's the first time this half we've seen UCLA bring a corner blitz, which is a big part of them coming into this game thinking they could bring pressure from the outside. I think if I'm UCLA, I'm coming back and trying to bring pressure from that linebacker level, moving that defensive front around. We do not see Femi Oladejo in the ball game right now.
He's standing over on the sideline watching. Kane Medrano, who had the pick six to start the half, is off the field as well. It'll be Emmett Johnson. He's able to turn the corner and then gets swarmed. Ramon Henderson was there. It looked like Johnson was about to sprint to the sideline, cut it up and got brought down. Now it's 3rd and a yard.
It's been so fun to watch the XO side of this ball game, guy. You watch different personnel grouping in with that big defensive lineman slash fullback Elijah Judy. UCLA tries to match that personnel.
A couple of tight ends in the game in short yardage, and Dowdell is able to get the first down. Can't bring him down by the ankles.
I'd keep feeding him in the downhill run game, and he's been so impressive. Very rarely tackled by the first defender. I think those quick-hitting runs are the ones that have had the most success against this Bruin defensive front. And then I would keep working some of the play-action game, you know, run it outside the back door, but right now, based on the alignment, I could see a run right here.
Play clock. But Raiola gets it off. Schlesinger coming, bringing the pressure. Raiola chucks it down the field. Did he get it? Nair! Yeah, he got it. What a catch. What a catch. 37 yards.
What an audible. I mean, that's an audible from Dylan Raiola.
End of the third quarter.
Let's see if he's in. He's got the catch. He's got the right foot down. And he's got this crowd in a frenzy.
Good finish ahead. 4th quarter coming up.
All right, Coach, been a little bit of a back and forth here in the second half. What do you want to see from your defense to get off the field there?
Just continue to play with discipline. You know, we're kind of bailing them out a little bit. A couple situations that we bailed them out. Every time we've got a penalty, they've made a big play. So we got to stop hurting ourselves.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, 4th quarter, and Nebraska moving the football, 27-14. Just hit a big play to Isaiah Nair. And Heinrich Harburg is coming to the game. QB number 2 behind QB 1, Dylan Raiola. He's going to give it. Harburg wants to throw it back. Raiola setting it up. He lets it go complete. That is Jamal Banks, and it's very near a first down. It's not an official pass attempt for Harburg. That was a backwards pass, and they made it work.
Nice job, little toss. UCLA high alert, but you see sneaking behind that defense is Banks. Look, when Dylan Raiola and company, they know where the defense is deploying and they have a little time, they've been able to have positive plays. Positive one right there as he found the laces.
2 tight ends in the game. Play action to Dowdell. And they give it to him out of the backfield, and he leaps over a defender and picks up 5 yards. I'm not sure. Did he find the laces on that throw? I don't know.
Hey, that's that baseball background, that dynamic athlete that he is. But I'll tell you what, I love this right now from Marcus Satterberg. This guy's been under a ton of heat as the offensive coordinator. He's finding ways to get getting his quarterback outside the pocket, finding different ways in the play action game, just trying to clean up the picture a little bit for his young quarterback.
Raiola is 8 of 9 since he threw the pick 6 on the first play of the second half. He's really responded well. Now they're in the red zone on 2nd down. And Dowdell gets cut down by the man who had that pick 6, Kane Medrano.
It's been so impressive to watch this Nebraska team just continue to compete and compete and compete. You go back, you talk to Matt Rule about what happened post-Indiana loss. This team has rallied together in a big way.
Dowdell, and he should have the first down.
I don't know. I think it looks, let's see.
They're waving it.
One official had him up for the first down nearest the ball.
10-yard line is the line to gain the first down.
Yeah, up to the top of the screen they had him. Yeah, that's easy. Good call. The bottom, I thought he had him a little short. But again, to this team, I mean, you throw a pick 6 in the first play of the 3rd quarter, and you can say, oh, here we go again. They did not. Another explosive play for a touchdown. You can say, here we go again. They did not. They just continued to pound the rock. Stay a little bit ahead of the sticks, and Dylan Raiola now, he's got to navigate a moving defense in UCLA as they adjust.
Back to the ground, Dowdell, and he kind of crowd surfs forward to the 5-yard line.
Marcus Satterfield again, continually feeding Dowdell the back. I think he's done a really nice job in this downhill run game where you can get the ball immediately and get north and south. Struggled in the first half just protecting the penetration of this defense, especially that big man in the middle, Jay Toia, number 93 at the nose, over the center.
10th play of the drive coming up. Couple of tight ends. They're going to the corner again. This time Banks was the intended target. It was Nair who caught the touchdown on the other end of the field a few minutes ago. And now it's 3rd and goal.
That's a nice job by Devin Kirkwood, just staying on top of the wide receiver on the route. See at the top of the screen. Huge part of playing DB in the red zone, guys, is having your eyes back to the quarterback. If you can make it look like you're playing man coverage, and then on the snap, get your eyes to the quarterback, get a much better chance to play that fade ball.
Jamal Banks, the motion man. Pressure. Raiola swarm. Raiola sees, and it's deflected and incomplete. Jay Toia, who else, was able to get his hand on it, and now it's 4th down.
Trying to get the ball out in the bunch set to Fedoni, but it was not only Toia having the pressure, but I think it was Kane Medrano right off the bat who flashed initially. And Carson Swisser, he seemed to have a little tip on the ball as well.
He did. It was his hand, actually, not Toia's. And so now it's 4th down. 0 of 1 on 4th down today. From the 5.
I'd say find the ball to that freshman to freshman.
And now Raiola's going to take a timeout with the play clock very low.
Timeout, Nebraska. Their first of the half. It'll be a full charge timeout.
Big 4th down coming up. Biggest play of the game so far. 4th down and goal for Nebraska at the 5. Yogi, what are they doing?
Well, I am finding a way to make sure that Ja'Cory Barney Jr. is involved in this play. Thomas Fedoni, number 24, he is a red zone threat at tight end. He's a big-bodied guy. but I would have some sort of motion, try to isolate the most explosive offensive player they have in Barney to get him the rock. For UCLA, they've been burned when they played man-to-man down here before. Do they play some sort of zone? I'd imagine it. I'd also imagine a little bit of pressure.
They also have the track star, the freshman Carter Nelson, who's a 6'5" tight end in the game. A lot of movement up front as Nebraska snaps it. Raiola goes down. Carson Schlesinger, the former walk-on for UCLA, turned one of the best tacklers in the Big Ten
on the field
with a clutch sack on 4th and goal, and UCLA will take over.
What a play. It looked like they were either setting up a screen to Barney or something in the corner, but there was nothing doing. And the aggressive UCLA defense rolls the dice. They get a strike.
Football on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense. And by Rinvoque. Carson Schlesinger with a huge sack on 4th and goal at the 5. Flags down to start this UCLA drive. Nebraska just got stopped.
False start. Offense, number 89. 5-yard penalty remains. First down.
All right, let's go back
to 4th down.
Yeah, so they're going to motion Barney, the freshman. But this UCLA defensive front, right before the snap, you're trying to figure out where they're going to go. And on the snap, guy, it's like they timed it perfectly. And there was just movement up front. Defensive tackles became defensive ends became defensive tackles, and they were in the lap of Raiola again.
TJ Harden with the carry. It felt like there were 15 players on the defense at the snap. I mean, it was just incredible. Of course, Schlesinger is Kane Medrano, the 2 linebackers. Medrano, the pick 6 earlier. Schlesinger, what an incredible story. We've talked about him. Mentioned a little earlier, a walk-on turned. I mean, this is one of the leading tacklers in the country and in the league.
Guys, I was just watching Carson Schlesinger get kind of summoned over by one of the UCLA coaches to watch that last series of plays there on the iPad. Then more and more guys started coming over to watch the play. None more excited than Kane Medrano, who got so fired up. I think mostly because not only did Schlesinger make the sack, but did you see the play to get to Raiola? Blew up the running back Dowdell on his way to the quarterback. Really impressive athleticism and power from Schlesinger.
Wait, Brett, how did you see it? Were you in the huddle too, watching the iPad?
I mean, I wanted to stick around and watch just to see everybody's reactions. I mean, it was like one guy came over, then 2 guys came over. Then there was like all of a sudden 8 people sitting there watching the play with Schlesinger.
3rd and 7 here. There's still a lot of time in this game if you're Nebraska, if you can get a stop.
Critical 3rd down. They've got 2 timeouts left. Both staffs are managing the situation.
UCLA been really good on 3rd down. Garbers cuts that loose. MJ Sherman was all over it and made it a very difficult throw. And UCLA will have to punt.
Yeah, Tommy Hill was all over Bryce Pierre on the route. You see it right here at the bottom of the screen. This is corner on tight end. He runs the route for him in the hip pocket. The only place for Garbers to go. He goes to his tight end, and Tommy Hill sitting right on it.
So Brody Richter almost had a punt blocked his last time to send this away to Isaiah Garcia Castaneda. And Nebraska's going to have good field position to start that drive. Heisman contender Dylan Gabriel leads #1 Oregon against Maryland next Saturday. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Last night, Nebraska volleyball swept Wisconsin, winning on the road at Wisconsin for the first time since 2013. That's #2 over #7. Today's Women's Sports Spotlight is sponsored by Allstate, and you want to see the #2 team in the nation in action again. Nebraska taking on 10th-ranked Oregon. Oregon, UCLA also on the docket. Nebraska's offense takes over after the UCLA punt. Good starting field position. They get it to Ja'Cory Barney. UCLA is claiming they have the football, but this is ruled down.
The rule in the field is the runner's progress was stopped before the ball came loose. 2nd down.
It's a 8-yard pickup for Barney.
Well, it's the right idea. He needs to continue to be featured in this offense. He's made all of the explosive plays for this Nebraska offense through the air. Continue to find ways, and if I'm UCLA, they're going to double him right here at the bottom of the screen. Got to take him away.
Barney has a 40-yard catch and a 27-yard catch. Raiola trying to load it up, was looking for him again, and now he's going to throw it away.
And I'll tell you what, Nebraska's lucky they didn't get a penalty there for an offensive lineman downfield.
Out of the tackle box, the ball crossed the line of scrimmage.
Well,
no
if the
foul.
quarterback throws the ball away, then they will not call a lineman downfield.
Good job there. But Barney double covered. There's a safety on him. There's a corner on him. They try to set up a screen again. Nothing doing there. Raiola, to your point, guy wisely threw it away outside of the tackle box.
So now 3rd and 2. Heinrich Harburg back into the game. They give this one up the middle to Dowdell, and it's a first down.
Okay, so now I think you got to get into a rhythm mode if you're on offense, right? And by that, I mean a little bit of tempo. Get this offense going here. The clock is ticking. You're trying to navigate the clock, the score.
Yeah, guys, you know, this kind of comes back to what we saw when Nebraska was moving the ball a little bit, right? It was a little bit of that downhill run game. Saw that again there with Dowdell. And, you know, kind of following the way that these offensive linemen for Nebraska are positioned to kind of determine, you know, what the play ends up being, one of those tells, as you had there, Raiola looking for Fedoni. But that's just something I'm kind of watching here develop, especially with their tackles. They're up, kind of feels a little bit more like pass when their hand is in the ground. Been more likely to run the football.
Yeah, I think every defense, right, you're looking for little things, whether it's the alignment of the back, we've seen that at times, the alignment of the tackle, to your point, Rhett. UCLA trying to bring as much pressure off of their edges. We'll keep an eye on it here again. It's a natural passing down. You see the running back lined up parallel to the quarterback. Looks like he's going to be in pass protection. Tackles are up.
Raiola completes, and that is Emmett Johnson, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 4.
Yeah, everything's 4-down territory here, and I think to Rhett's other point, like trying to find a little rhythm here offensively. You get a 1st down here, and you want to go, right? If you're Dylan Raiola, if you do get going, it also slows down the movement, the post-snap movement of UCLA's defensive line.
Johnson breaks the tackle. Johnson spins forward, and he's got the 1st down.
Okay, now you see even the coaches in the sideline a little bit, the players saying, okay, let's go, let's go, let's go. Nice job on the run there, breaking one tackle from Medrano and getting the 1st down. You'll see a quick little huddle from Nebraska, but they've got to get to the line of scrimmage. If I'm UCLA, I'm taking away 17 at the top of the screen in the slot right there.
Raiola, good pocket, and that's complete near. Still on his feet, down inside the 10.
I love it when quarterbacks find this rhythm, a little hurry-up offense. Look at the eyes right down the middle. He isolates where the linebackers are going to deploy on the back, coming out of the backfield. Finds his receiver on the dig route. Beautifully thrown ball. Receiver can run and catch. And again, this 6-year veteran Nair makes a play. And here comes Nebraska again inside the 10.
1st and goal. Pressure. Raiola spins out of it. Still looking. Back foot. End zone. And nobody there, but a flag is down. And we know Nebraska's very good at creating pass interference penalties. And it looks like that might be what this is.
17 times this season, opponents have been called for PI. 16 of the 17.
Holding. Defense. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic. 1st down.
Let's take a look at the penalty on the hold. It's in the back of the end zone. I thought he was going to throw it right there to Barney. He's wide open, but the rush. And there is the hold right in the middle of the screen. You'll see it again here, right in the middle.
It's KJ Wallace,
right there.
Jamal Banks.
Right call, and the clock stops.
And this is where they were a few minutes ago on 4th down. This is a very different looking formation. Raiola under center. He's going to give it to Lloyd, and that's going backwards. Oluwafemi Oladejo there for the tackle.
For the tackle, he blew up the entire thing. You'll see number 2 right here, right there. Look at him. He just penetrates immediately into the backfield. He's so, not just strong, but he's so fast. I mean, this is a guy that used to play inside backer. He's a dynamic athlete coming out of high school. Now just playing the edge where the rules are pretty simple. See ball, get ball, wreak havoc. He's been doing that all game.
Raiola, Oladejo stepping up. Raiola, clear path down to the 3, and he gets crushed. That was Cajo and Schlesinger, and Raiola is down.
Officials time. Injured player, offense, number 15.
You hope he's okay. This was a full speed contact collision. Raiola saw zone coverage. Everybody deploying, much like he did a week ago against Ohio State. Tuck it and ran. Deep play action. Nothing open in the end zone. Makes an incredible decision, tuck it and run. Then watch him go. Right on that right shoulder. Looked like he and Schlesinger.
That was a big collision. That's a 3rd down coming up as they tend to the starting quarterback, Dylan Raiola. And he gets a hand as he pops up. The very experienced Heinrich Harburg will have to come in for this play.
Tell you what, Dylan's toughness has been on display, right, all season. Anybody you talk to says, man, he's come in with such a professional mindset, endeared himself with great humility to his teammates. And on the field, he has left it on the grass, on the turf, every game.
Well, UCLA defensive coordinator Kaiko Malloy told us, I know the family. He goes way back with the family. He knows Dominic well. He said, this is a tough kid. This is a tough family. But he's going to have to watch from the sideline. Speaking of toughness, Heinrich Harburg now 3rd down and goal. He's the quarterback.
This is easily 4-down territory. And you're bringing in a guy who is a true vet, right? He started at quarterback, not just the H-back dynamic player before for this program and this staff.
2 tight ends, 3 tight ends in the game. Harburg keeping it, trying to find his way, and another 4th down coming up inside the 5-yard line for Nebraska. Sidveni Havili Kafusi and Jay Toia now flag in.
Schlesinger at the bottom of that pile. Toia with the initial push. You see him right in the middle of your screen, 93. Forcing Harburg to cut back. And I think, again, there was a little extra curricular. It's sadly been a theme.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense, number 95. His first of the game. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic. First down.
Wow. This has been an epidemic for UCLA today. Sidveni Havili Kafusi. The last 2 unsportsmanlike penalties. You see 95 in white is what you're looking for. The last 2 have led to touchdowns. And you can see him pulling Gunnar Gatula off the pile.
I mean, I get the rule, but it wasn't as though he ripped him off the pile. But penalty is called, 3rd one of that ilk.
Dowdell maybe gets back the line of scrimmage. Instead of 4th down, it's 1st and goal. Now it's 2nd and goal.
Yeah, and look, the biggest thing for UCLA, because I think that call can be debated, and I think that's fair, is now they've just got to create their composure as Dylan Raiola comes back into the field. But look at the clock. It continues to tick. And I don't know.
Something just happened to Dylan.
God, his grittiness is through the
officials' time.
Through the roof. You just hope he's okay.
15.
He just ran back out. He looked okay running out, and then he felt something as he got to the huddle. So the clock stops at 4:35 before 2nd and goal.
It has been a physical game for him. I think of the first drive of the game to now, he's been under pressure all game long. His toughness is one of his traits that stand out. His teammates have truly fallen in love with just his approach to the craft. You hope that he is okay. We had a chance to spend time with his parents in pregame as well. We know they're in attendance. And for Deshaun Foster now, Guy, he had a moment to probably talk to his team and say, okay, guys, let's settle down here. Now we're coming in. We know the quarterback. We anticipate QB run game. We know the situation, 2nd and goal. It's clearly 4-down territory.
And Harburg is in the game. Dowdell in the game. Emmett Johnson in the game. Those are the 2 backs behind the quarterback. Harburg, pitch. Johnson cuts it out, and he gets stonewalled. Ramon Henderson comes up for the stop.
How about the pursuit to the rock? It's cut back inside and at the white. Nice play from Henderson and back on the line of scrimmage.
Harburg gives it. Flag down, but Dowdell in. Touchdown, Nebraska. Check on the penalty.
Offside. Defense, number 93. Penalties declined. The result of the play. Touchdown.
The high-flying Dante Dowdell. And a chance to make it a 6-point game.
And a nice job there from head coach Matt Rule, saving his timeouts amid injury. Who's on, who's off. The management of the game from the head coach, extremely impressive in the red zone.
And Holm misses the extra point. Wide left, still a 7-point game. Nebraska just refuses to go away. And a good finish coming up here in Lincoln. Back in 30. Check out today's start comparison, sponsored by Jared. Ethan Garbers. I mean, his number, his completion percentage, has just been off the charts. 17 of 25 for Garbers today. And there you see what Raiola started slow, had a really good stretch in the middle, helped get Nebraska back in this game.
Yeah, and now we'll see what happens. This black shirt defense has to show up, and then I'd assume it's going to be Heinrich Harburg who comes on back in if Nebraska can have the ball. They saved their timeouts on that drive. I'd kick it deep.
And the pressure will be on UCLA. A fair catch made by Keegan Jones. Unsportsmanlike penalties have been extremely punitive for UCLA today.
Every touchdown has come off of one. And for the #1 pillar in the program under first-year head coach Deshaun Foster to be disciplined, you can only imagine how frustrated he must be. But part of being a head coach is managing the circumstance, managing the situation. Those are in the past. Right now, this offense, they have got to pick up a few first downs if they want to dictate terms.
Garbers hands it off. TJ Harden, MJ Sherman. 2nd down. How do you call this game right now if you're UCLA?
Well, I'm of the ilk. If you got to call the offense like you have all game long.
Officials time. Injured player defense, number 0.
You see Nash Hutmaker.
All right, tell me more how you'll call the game in a moment. Monday, the hoop season tips off with a triple header featuring the Boilermakers, Wolverines, and Trojans right here on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Good to see Nash Hutmaker walking off for Nebraska. And Yogi, the question was, how do you call this offense if you're UCLA right now?
You got to keep the ball in the hands of your star quarterback and let him make decisions. Look, J. Michael Sturdivant in street clothes. He's not on the field, so you're going to employ multiple tight ends from a personnel grouping. But that's a trusted position group for Ethan Garbers and Eric Bieniemy. To me, they have had minimal success running the ball in the majority of this game on first down. Didn't have it on the previous play. I put the ball in the hands of my QB. Find some of those weapons at tight end.
It is loud. And the play clock is low as they get it off. Toss it to Berger. He cuts it up through a seam. And this is going to make it 3rd down and about 1. And the player is down for UCLA.
My first thought was going to be, is Nebraska going to call a timeout? And then we see an injured player.
It's Bryce Pierre, 87, who you saw blocking at the very end of that play for Berger.
So the clock naturally stops. Pseudo gives Nebraska a tight end, or excuse me, a timeout due to the injury to the tight end. Unfortunate circumstances with the injured player. But Nebraska doesn't have to make the decision on if they want to burn a timeout on this 3rd down.
UCLA started so good on 3rd down, but they've converted just 1 of the last 6.
Okay, so here's the question, right? Is this 4-down territory? And here come the big dogs for UCLA. They bring on an extra offensive lineman, Amaki Hilla. You'll see him in the huddle, number 73. I think an opportunity, 2 downs to get it here if I'm the Bruins.
Nash Hutmaker is back in the middle of that Nebraska defense after he limped off 2 plays ago.
Fullback Leo Kemp as well enters the game.
Long huddle for UCLA. Play clock is at 6.
That's by design, guy.
They hurry up then. They give it to Berger. And he is short. And it's 4th down.
And here comes a timeout. This is the right decision for Matt Rule. They're trying to get an extra one with the 2-minute timeout as he's talking to Tony White. Situationally here.
Offense is still standing out there.
Well, you go back, and here's the stop.
They're second of the
This
half.
is Tommy Hill. This is the guy we didn't know if he was even going to play in the game due to an injured foot the last couple weeks. He just keeps his arms draped around the back. Berger. Look at that, number 6, right in the middle of the screen there. And I'll tell you what, guy, where does my head go? Go back to that Minnesota game. I get it. They were backed up. It was a different field position. But it was a 4th and short, an opportunity to run the ball to keep the clock moving.
For UCLA.
For UCLA. They decided to punt it, and down came Minnesota, and they win the game on the final drive of the ball game. What does Deshaun Foster decide to do here?
Last week he had a 4th down deep in his own territory against Rutgers, and he went for it, and he got it.
And it looks like they're going to send the punt team out. Part of you might be saying, well, he wants to be aggressive, but you got to understand the situation. I would not be anticipating Dylan Raiola to come in at quarterback. So now are you facing a guy who you might think is a little more one-dimensional in Heinrich Harbert?
Richter to punt it away to Garcia Castaneda. And this sends Garcia Castaneda back to about the 20. And so 2:22, a timeout after the 46-yard punt. But UCLA looked like they had this game in hand, Yogi, and then Nebraska has really scratched and clawed its way back in.
Yeah, look, they got some help on some penalties, but they also got some help from these wideouts. Just incredible plays down the field. That was Nair. We've seen the freshman Barney. You go back to the 6-year senior in Isaiah Nair, and then they find their way with their elite back in Dante Dowdell, who's been really dynamic today, running downhill at this defensive front. So here we go. Set the stage. Heinrich Harbert in at quarterback right now for Nebraska.
Dylan Raiola still in the blue medical tent, and he's going to hand it off. No, he's going to keep it, and Harbert gets a yard, maybe 2.
And I'd imagine this is going to take us down.
Well, it looks like they're trying to get another playoff before the 2-minute timeout.
But you don't want to be frivolous here. You want to make sure you're aligned, manage it properly.
They do get it off, and Harbert throws. That's Thomas Fedoni. The ball comes out, and it's incomplete. And a 3rd down and 8 coming up. The 2-minute timeout. Matt Rule and his team, they've faced so much adversity the last 2 weeks. Can the Huskers overcome it this week? We find out next.
Dave Rebson in our Chicago studios, going down to the wire in Lincoln. We'll get you out there for the conclusion of the game momentarily. The State Farm post game to follow. Complete reaction to that one. Ashley Adamson and Marcel Reese join me. And then we get you set for our nightcap as well. Washington and USC, 88th all-time meeting between these longtime rivals, both with 4 wins, both scratching and clawing for bowl eligibility. Let's go back to Guy and Yogi.
And meanwhile, Nebraska scratching and clawing to try and perhaps pull off something historic. If they are able to come back today, it'd be the 2nd largest comeback win in program history. Trailed 27-7 in the middle of the 3rd quarter. Dylan Raiola is injured. Heinrich Harburg is the quarterback. Out of the 2-minute timeout, it's 3rd down and 8. And the veteran Harburg drops back. And he's pressured. And he will step out. And he might have lost a yard or 2. Yogi, he did. He lost 2 yards by stepping out there. And now it's 4th and 11. Actually, it's a 3-yard loss.
Well, for UCLA, they have what they call like their NASCAR pack, right? The fastest defenders on their roster are on the field. Only one true defensive lineman in Jay Toia is going to be right over the ball. They got Oluwafemi Oladejo playing defensive tackle. They got linebackers playing at the edge. They want to get in the backfield and force Heinrich Harburg to get rid of the ball.
Play clock was really low, and so a timeout is taken by Nebraska. 30-second break for us. 4th and 11 coming up for Heinrich Harburg in this Nebraska offense.
I'd be working the middle of the field right now if I'm Heinrich Harburg. You know you're going to get some sort of dynamic pass rush. Can you find areas in between the hashes, down the seams, to some of your explosive playmakers like 17, the freshman Ja'Cory Barney Jr. He's been the guy in the majority of this ball game in terms of big plays. He's going to be in the slot at the bottom of the screen.
Harburg. Toia in his face. And he finds Nair. And Nebraska converts. And hope remains alive.
Great route from Barney. He ran the seam route. You see him, number 17. He runs vertical, takes the safety. And then inside, he goes on back to Nair.
Harburg to the sideline. Incomplete. 1:35. Stops the clock.
From Nebraska, Marcus Satterfield, Glenn Thomas and company. I like these half-field reads. Just kind of give it a clean picture for Heinrich Harburg. For UCLA, they're remaining in the same personnel grouping. So you just got to beat the rush of Oluwafemi Oladejo and company. Again, he's going to line up all over that defensive line, and he's going to come with some heat.
Harburg, who started 8 games last year, appeared in 10, has played predominantly as part of a 2 QB package this year with Dylan Raiola. Now he sets up, and then he's off the hands of Jamal Banks. Almost a big play, now it's 3rd down.
Yeah, nice job of Banks running through zones. UCLA playing zone coverage. First opportunity to throw to the first zone, not there. They go to the second one right off the hands of Banks. Would have been an incredible catch, but an opportunity there.
No timeouts for Nebraska as well.
And Jay Toia looks to be running off the field for the Bruins. Just some fresh legs on the defensive line. Still playing zone coverage.
4-man pressure. Harburg. He can run. He brings it down. And he gets the first down and gets out of bounds.
Guy, if he saw it early, I thought he hit Barney down the seam for a big play, maybe even a touchdown. You'll see it right here. Look at this area of the field. There's Barney right there, man. And just didn't have the time to get rid of the ball.
You could hear the crowd go, ooh.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where you really have to anticipate that. He thought about it. Nice job in the secondary, UCLA trying to recover, but Nebraska had a chance.
First down.
So they're going to check whether or not this is a first down. Ruling on the field was first down. Where is the ball when he steps out of bounds? He's got it in his right arm, which makes it a little tougher to tell.
Oh. It's always hard from the angle that isn't directly down the line.
Yeah. Well, the one thing you could point to is you see the hash mark where he steps is the line to gain, right? The 48. So if he steps there with the left foot and the ball in his right, I mean, you know, you could guess that maybe he's short a little, but hard to say. This ruling on the field is first down.
And it's going to change the play call, right, if he's short.
Let's bring in Mike Pereira, rules analyst in LA. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, we're looking, of course, it's across the field here, and these are tough to judge.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands, first down.
You look at the live shot, and actually, you guys said it, the ball's in his right hand. And then when you look at the foot down, you know it's crossed there. My sense was it was short, but as in replay, it's got to be absolutely indisputable, you know, and it's really, you really cannot tell.
Okay, Mike, thank you. So the call stands, first down for Nebraska, 121.
No timeouts.
Harbert over the middle, and it's broken up. That's Kalen Moore, and it's second down.
Yeah, that's the Bruins' top corner, and this is just great coverage. He's in the hip pocket. Watch him go over the top. Nice job of just playing that ball on the dig route where they've had a ton of success on this drive in this ball game. I think that's really good in terms of the timing of the contact. Nice play from the senior.
Ninth play of this drive for Nebraska. Here comes pressure. Harbert gets it out quick to Fedoni, and the UCLA defense keeps him in bounds at the 40. Clock is running.
Okay, now this is all about mastery of the 2-minute offense. You see Harbert, he's calling and barking out what the protection is, what the play is. There's a small menu of plays for this QB.
On third down, he gives it. And that'll temporarily stop the clock on the first down from Emmett Johnson.
Look, if it's me and you're Akaika Malloy, you've got to continue to call aggressive defenses. And not be afraid if you're Sean Foster to call a timeout. If you need to reset it, you can.
Three-man rush. Harbert out quick. Fedoni. And the clock is going to keep running here. A flag is down back near the line of scrimmage.
I wonder if this is on the formation. Didn't seem to be any real contact there.
You're talking about like if a defender jumped?
Yeah, to me on the off. Here's Nebraska lining up.
Illegal touching. Offense, number 24. The player was covered up. The 5-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage. Loss of down. Second down.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on it.
So Fedoni's in motion.
Yep, he's in motion. Gets set, and they're both on the line of scrimmage there, and then he's the one that catches the ball as the inside receiver. So he's covered up.
The receiver has to back off at the top. All right, so after the penalty, it's 2nd and 15. Harburg has Barty, and then he does it. Closing quickly was Brian Addison, and he's got it. Kalen Moore took it away. An interception for UCLA.
1st and 10, UCLA.
What? All you want in moments like this is for your team on both sides to play with conviction. Harbert throws it, rips it with conviction. His receiver, the freshman Barney, goes up with conviction. Addison tries to play the ball with conviction. It goes off the left arm. Barney, are you kidding me? Into the hands of Kalen Moore. I mean, we've seen a lot, brother. We have never seen knee to elbow to chest to pick, and now we've got celebration. The Bruins get one on the road for the 2nd straight time in one of the most challenging places in America to strap it up and play the greatest game on earth.
Well, you know what happened, right? The Big Ten expanded, and people say, what about these West Coast teams going to the Pacific time zone, long flights? It's cold. And UCLA, who faced so much challenge early in the year, traveling to LSU and Penn State and traveling to Rutgers and wondering, are they going to be able to figure this out? They've now won back-to-back road games. And heartbreak for Nebraska.
That's the end of the game.
For the third week in a row, they're unable to become bowl eligible. And if you're UCLA, suddenly you're thinking, can we win 3 of our last 4 and go to the postseason?
Well, I just love the embrace. Matt Rule was a graduate assistant when Deshaun Foster was a player at UCLA. Tremendous respect and regard for one another. As Matt Rule said to Rhett to start this game, he said, I'm going to remember this one. When it's all said and done, we're all going to remember this one.
Deshaun Foster is with Rhett Lewis.
Well, Coach, your defense, as we talked about, had some of those penalties that led to touchdowns late, but they come up with the interception at the very end. What about the response of that group?
Resilient, this team just continues to show how resilient they are. Did a great job, came out of half, made a play. We won the middle 8. So I'm pleased with our performance. We just got a couple discipline issues that we got to fix.
Coach, 2 Big Ten wins now in a row on the road. What does this moment say about the direction of your program and what you're building?
I mean, we always knew that we could play ball. We had a tough gauntlet at the beginning. Then we're going through our blue-collar teams that we've been playing against, and then we're about to hit this West Coast run after this. But we still got Iowa, and we're just pretty excited to keep going. But I love my group. I love my guys.
And your quarterback, Ethan Garbers, feels like he has found new life post-injury, coming back into the lineup. What have you seen from him that has helped unlock this offense's performance?
Same thing, just continue to be resilient. This team really fights. They care about each other. You can just tell the way that they play the game. Like I said before, we had to earn the right to win, and we did that for 2 weeks.
Coach, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Earn the right to win. They did just that. Coming here, challenging losses on the road. This Bruin team came out, struck early, thought they had a big lead guy, and then had to navigate a massive surge from the Big Red Machine. They survived it. And now some confidence swinging back towards Westwood as the ball bounces in mysterious ways on Halloween weekend.
Incredible game here in Lincoln. Not all the bounces went their way, but one big one, one wild one at the end did. And UCLA's feeling real good right now. Meanwhile, for Nebraska, still 5-3. Have to check on the health of Dylan Raiola, who was injured near the end of this game. And that'll be a story for the days ahead. So much fun that we had here. Denny Blunt, our producer, Pat O'Connor, our director, Yogi Roth, Rhett Lewis, Guy Haberman saying stay tuned. The Big Ten Live football post game sponsored by State Farm.